Civil War. And I'm just kidding. Somebody chatted. They were like, how long until Tim starts saying Civil War? And so Adam was like, just say it. Make it the first thing you say. And I was like, all right.
Way to out me there, dude.
Totally. It was Adam's idea. Don't blame me. He's the one who said it. I want to just.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that Civil War is happening.
Do you have that little art of the creepy but amazing?
I can go get it. It's upstairs.
Do you feel like you want to do? Oh, you don't have to.
I'll snag it later when I go get my whiskey.
So we got sent this just really amazing art. Check that out. It's like a little me holding a star and a garter, and I'm on a skateboard.
Oh, yeah.
That's really, really cool. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. Smash that like button. Adam's got a soundboard now. We only have 3 sounds so far.
Yeah, I don't feel. Those aren't my sounds. So
we gotta be. Yeah, we gotta be.
Meh.
We do have to
I want my own sounds.
We do have to be careful moving forward too, because we don't want to be one of those, soundboard nonstop. There'll be funny moments.
No, I mean, you got. It's all about comedy is timing. If you don't have good timing and you're just uncomfortable. So yeah, I'm all about my timing. I'm working on it. That's why I want my own soundboard, because I got my own timing going on.
You made a list of the sounds you wanted too, right?
I have many good sounds I want.
We need some good.
I got some help from you guys. Actually, a lot of people hit me up with some really good ideas on Twitter. So it's gonna be good.
Excellent.
Yep.
And it's getting crazy out there. A federal judge has denied that lawsuit I guess it was a lawsuit. They filed suit. The attorney general in Oregon was trying to sue to shut down the federal operation in Portland. And surprise, surprise, what do you think a federal judge said?
Get out of my courtroom.
Well, I don't know about that, but they were like, no.
That's my guess. I'll take it.
I'd be willing to bet the federal judge was like, let's see here. You're trying to tell the federal government to stop protecting the courthouse for which I am a judge.
Were they in that,
I don't know.
courthouse too?
Okay, hold on. This is what's funny about it. Okay, so these Antifa people are they've breached this courthouse a couple times. They're setting fires in front of the federal courthouse. And so the AG has filed a lawsuit in federal court. I don't know if it was that specific court asking the judge to stop, to have federal law enforcement stop protecting a federal courthouse. This is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
It is entertaining to think that was the courthouse they're in. They're like in the courthouse, like they should leave so we can burn this place down.
Yeah.
The judge,
Your Honor, we'd like to ask you
What?
to stop protecting this building. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. I work here. Have a nice day. But it was all remote, so it wasn't at the courthouse. But I can't believe that this is where we've come to. And now you know what, man? So there's an article out from Vox.
Oh man.
Which is very much akin to what we talked about yesterday with this Bloomberg article. That was like, just the first sentence took us 5 minutes to get through to break down how much of a lie it was.
Yeah, this is the echo chamber of they read that article and they're like, oh, we can do better. Crack their knuckles, started typing up. That's the impression I got anyway.
This article from Vox it's as if somebody literally walked into the Vox office and said, I need you to just make everything up. Like, I don't know, throw in some aliens and like maybe Godzilla and then claim Trump is actually a cyborg. Just full on psychotic. I have never seen fake news this bad. We are in the realm where media is literally writing fiction.
Yep.
I'm not kidding.
They're storytellers.
Look, I've been working in this industry now for about 10 years. It's crazy to think that, because I was just some dude walking around pointing my phone at stuff. And now here we are. I worked in some of these newsrooms, and I've seen some pretty awful reporting, but I've seen some really good reporting.
Okay.
Over time, it's been getting worse and worse. And now, I don't necessarily think that some of these people know how bad they are. I do think many of them are useful idiots for political parties who, look, as far as I'm concerned, the point I'm trying to make is journalism today has become an arm of the political parties.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mostly mainstream, high-profile venture capital funded stuff, not necessarily even the Republican stuff, because there are conservative outlets that are like never Trump conservative outlets, and there's not that many conservative outlets relative to establishment, venture capital funded, major network brand, all that stuff. They literally make stuff up. This is the craziest thing. In this Vox article, they straight up say, essentially, that state law enforcement has never, anywhere other than Northern Ireland, enforced crowd control.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like, what? State security forces go around all over the world for hundreds of, like, all of human history enforcing the law against people. This is the craziest thing. I have an article, state police said they would assist local police in riot control during the riots last month. And Vox is like, it's never happened before that state security would do something like this. I'm like, that is the most insane thing. This guy must have just, I imagine, look, it's Vox, so maybe this guy used to write about Brad Pitt's junk. I guess that's the trope now. Any nonsensical news is like celebrity gossip.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, hey, you want to write about this? I don't know anything about it, but sure, I'll just make it up. And then they make it up. And this is where we are. So we got some other news too. We got some other crazy stories. There's a militia called, I can't say their name because it's a swear, but it's the NFAC coalition. And apparently they're going to be at some event where there's going to be 3%ers. And this is the militia. It's I believe it's all black. I'm pretty sure it is. And they were on this there was this video a while ago from Georgia where the dude says something like the Boogaloos and these other militias, like, where the F you at, basically calling them out. Well, now apparently they're both going to show up at the same place. So I can only imagine this will be really interesting. I'm pretty sure this militia, the NFAC, they're like Black Hebrew Israelites.
Okay.
So they're like the stuff that Nick Cannon was saying.
Yeah.
The anti-Semitic stuff, the anti-white stuff. That's the kind of stuff that they've been, they've been sharing, and it's getting more and more prominent. And then we got some really crazy news too. And I got to be honest. I feel bad we're not leading with the China stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But
because it's pretty important.
It was a toss-up, to be fair, because we've got just unrest and civil chaos in our own country. But then we have this one story that I think in the grand scheme of things, the story about China is serious. The feds went into the Chinese consulate and arrested a fugitive scientist.
Yep.
So that I'm not an expert on this stuff. I was looking up different articles. I believe the consulate is sovereign territory. Like, that's the feds like going into Chinese territory and taking one of their citizens.
Yeah, and the defense minister of China was basically calling us out for overstepping, and saying that, well, the ties, any friendship between Chinese and American is over.
We got to talk about this China stuff, man. I think, like, the thing about this Fed stuff in Portland is that it all ties together with this, what we're going to see I think it's in Louisville,
okay,
where these militias are going to clash and people are getting worried about it. We got to talk about this China stuff because we got to talk about it. It's serious stuff, but I have some thoughts on this. So let's do this. Let's jump straight over to the federal judge story. However, it is imperative that you
smash the like button. Smash. That was I went Wolverine there, like, smash. Slice. Should I switch it up a little bit? Maybe start steering a little different, slice up the like button.
Do a different superhero every day. Which superhero?
No, not every day. You got to let it sink in and develop.
Who's
into
the
a full character?
The least likely to actually smash something?
I mean, Wolverine smashes a lot.
Slashes.
That's true. He smashes, he slashes.
Actually, Adam.
He slices, he dices.
All right. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We do the show every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Let's talk about the serious going-ons of Oregon, Portland. Federal judge denies Oregon Attorney General's motion to restrict federal police actions. Now, this story is very, very simple. It's basically, let me just read you the quick context. A federal judge Friday denied a temporary restraining order that Oregon's Attorney General sought to restrict federal officers' tactics in Portland, finding the state lacked legal standing and presented scant evidence to support allegations that federal officers were illegally snatching people off city streets. Boom! That's what we've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. The fake news. All of these outlets have been running rampant, being like, they're snatching people off the streets. When they actually went to court and the judge was like, can you show us them doing this? They were like, no, Your Honor, but get out. And the judge was like, okay, get out of my courtroom. Denied. It's not real. They're not doing this.
Nope.
So how is it that all of these news outlets are saying unmarked, ununiformed? Ununiformed? What does that even mean?
Naked?
We get to this point now where we've talked about it. Ladies and gentlemen, on this program, you have heard us talk about the game of telephone that journalists play.
Yep.
I would like to present to you the most extreme game of telephone we have seen yet. But first, let me read this next paragraph. You get a little bit on our standing. U.S. District Judge Michael W. Mossman issued his ruling 2 days after hearing about 90 minutes of argument by phone conference. It comes on the 58th consecutive day of protests. Are we really at day 58? It's like every time I read a new article, they're claiming it's a day later.
I lost track.
Yeah.
Time's weird right now.
Okay, I guess we're on day 58. So yes, quote, because it has not shown it is vindicating an interest that is specific to the state itself, I find the state of Oregon lacks standing here and therefore deny its request for a temporary restraining order. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum had urged the judge to bar federal officers from engaging in unconstitutional police state type tactics, alleging the federal officers have violated protesters' rights to free expression and assembly, unreasonable search and seizure, and due process. The Attorney General and her lawyers referenced two incidents. I said this, it was two videos, that's it, in which men in camouflage fatigues took Michael Pettibone of downtown at 2 a.m., placed him in an unmarked van and took him to the courthouse for questioning. Another person the next day was caught on a widely circulated video on social media being led away to an unmarked dark van by men in camouflage, later identified as Customs and Border Patrol officers. The suit was filed against the U.S. Marshals Service and the FPS. The judge determined for the purposes of the court hearing that Pettibone's stop was likely done without probable cause. Now that's interesting, but had little information about the unidentified man in the video. That's interesting for sure. On Twitter, Mark Morgan, a senior official with Customs and Border Protection, referred to a person in a video who Border Patrol agents approached on the streets of Portland and moved the suspect to a safer location. Now that's insane.
Inside the courthouse.
For questioning to avoid a large... Oh, no. I'm sorry. I should have read the full thing first. A safer location for questioning to avoid a large and violent mob, suspecting he had previously assaulted a federal officer or destroyed federal property. He provided no further information about the encounter. They say the state has presented just one example of an arrest without probable cause and one example of an unreasonable seizure. That is the sum total of the evidence before me that underpins the legal injuries the state asserts in its brief. The judge wrote, in both circumstances of a federal seizure, it is either admitted or clearly visible that the agent's uniforms say police.
Yes.
Wow.
Boom.
So they contradict themselves.
Who did?
Well, I guess this is two different articles, but
This is
so
the
they clearly say that the uniforms said police.
The judge is straight up saying,
Disproving
like,
it.
in what was it in the video? In both instances of the evidence presented before me, their uniforms clearly say police.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this unmarked, unmarked vehicle? Okay, but to be fair, the judge did say no probable cause.
Yep.
That to me is surprising, and I'm going to defer to the experts because I would believe that the federal defense or whatever would prove or try and present an argument for probable cause. And I think they did. They said they thought this guy was somebody who was damaging property and they wanted to move him to a safer location so there wouldn't be a violent mob. That's actually fair.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, look, the federal government has its own interests in mind. And if they're saying no probable cause, well, there you go. However, the judge still told them, nah, they can keep doing what they're doing. They're clearly police. They're clearly doing their thing.
Yeah.
So here's what he says. Beyond the two examples, the state failed to show that federal officers were engaged in any widespread unlawful practice or that others would be harmed in the future. It has presented no evidence of any official orders or policies and has presented no evidence that these allegedly illegal seizures are a widespread practice. Despite the broad language in its complaint, Oregon has shown at most that this type of seizure has happened twice. Attorney Sheila Potter, Deputy Chief Trial Counsel for the Attorney General's office, had argued that secretive maneuvers by federal officers make other protesters fear they'll be snatched off the street, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we get the point. All we needed to hear from the judge was that the only evidence they could present clearly identified these men as police.
Yep.
You can argue that the seizures were unconstitutional. I will absolutely accept the judge's ruling on this one. And I think it's fair. I disagree, but at least it's not the judge, just like, jumping up on the table, dancing around and kicking papers at the state. You know what I mean?
True.
They're saying, okay, we get it. Probably, it seems like there's no probable cause, but they're clearly cops. It's not widespread. It was a couple instances.
Right.
Fair point.
Especially when the next, I think it was a week afterwards, there was a press conference and they were showing the actual uniforms saying, you can clearly see police. You can clearly see, the badge numbers. Look, yeah, there it is. Check it out right here. So you can see it on their arm, the badge number.
It says Customs and Border Protection right here.
Boom.
NZ39.
And then they talk about how these federal officers were getting doxxed by Antifa. So it's like, of course, like they don't even talk about that in the article that we just read. You
right.
know?
Well, so that was just like the judge's ruling. But look,
Sure.
look this article's been going around because it's hilarious.
This is beyond parody.
Unidentified federal agents. And it's literally got his patch. And
That's amazing.
He's actually identified in the picture they're using.
Check this out.
It's shameful.
Here's what Vox wrote. Look, man, I feel like I'm reading some kind of action book or comic graphic novel, just not something based in reality.
Okay.
In fact, outside the context of a domestic insurgency like the troubles in Northern Ireland, there is no example of state security forces being deployed under circumstances like this inside any democratic state.
You about to drop some bombs on him, Tim?
No, I mean any sane human being who understands life is like, what are you talking about? We have state police go out all the time.
Yep.
This is the most insane thing I've seen written. Like, how does Vox have a green check mark if they write something like this?
To me, it sounds like they're admitting this is insurgency. That's all I hear. What did they just say?
That's a good point. Outside of the context of domestic insurgency like Northern Ireland, there's no example. So
yeah,
I guess, well, kind of. I guess the argument is if this is an insurgency, then it's justified.
Well, that's what they're saying.
But look what he says. Look at in both of. Let me read this paragraph. The other crazy thing is that he's basically comparing this to the Civil War. I know somebody was waiting for me to say it. He's talking about Reconstruction, not me. I didn't legitimately bring it up.
Yeah.
The kind of violent federal deployment over the objections of state and local officials has no real precedent in American history. The closest parallels are Reconstruction, when Union troops occupied the states of the defeated former Confederacy, and military deployments to the South during the Civil Rights era to enforce desegregation orders. So in other words, it's totally legal. It's been done before. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Apparently not. In both of those cases, it was uniformed soldiers that were sent, not unidentified state security from an alphabet soup of obscure DHS agencies.
Oh my God.
More fundamentally, these troops were being used to protect moves towards racial progress, not suppress protesters who were there to demand it.
Well, that's
and there it is.
Blatant lying right there.
Well, no.
It is, though.
What he doesn't understand is that's actually a very childlike view of what they were doing. What they were doing was enforcing the law. When the law said this is what must be done, period, it wasn't about favoring an ideology or otherwise. It was about the courts had ruled, the laws were passed, done.
Yep.
So when it comes to what's going on in Oregon, when you try to breach a courthouse and burn it down and attack people, the law is very clear on that one. So yes, identified state security forces are being deployed. But see, here's what they do. He's playing a very clever game with this fake news. He says he says not unidentified state security, right? He didn't actually say in this paragraph the guys down there were unidentified. He used a clever manipulation tactic to write overt fake news, so you assume.
Right.
Here's what he said. In both cases, it was uniformed soldiers, not unidentified state security forces. Did he say the men down there are unidentified security forces? No. He said during Civil War, it wasn't them, so you assume it. That way, when he comes to the next paragraph, he's technically telling the truth. This is the most egregious example of technically the truth I have ever seen. And this is what these companies do all day, okay? Not every single one, but a lot of these digital-only, ridiculous, companies that just like knock out dozens of articles of nonsense every day. Mm-hmm. Very, very clever wording. Very clever. In both those cases, it was soldiers, not evil, fascistic monsters made of, metal with claws to make people assume that's what's really going on.
Yeah.
Now, here's the funniest thing. There's no example of state security forces being deployed in any like this in any democratic state. First of all, you want to talk about like unmarked, masked individuals in full tactical gear with live ammunition going into residential areas to purge undesirables? There are many, many examples of that happening in democratic states. You want to argue justification for whether or not they should or shouldn't be doing the certain operations? They're all different. I don't want to pretend like every single operation is the same. But how about we pop over to something called the BOPE? This is Brazil's BOPE. They're basically like SWAT, and they've been criticized because their symbol is like a skull with pistols behind it, I guess.
And a dagger.
A dagger through its head.
Slammed down through the top of it.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So take a look at this here, feller. This guy. Okay.
I don't know. He's identified.
He's got his patch on his arm in much the same way as like we see in Portland.
That's a good point.
But you can't see his eyes. You can't see his face. It's look. I'll be fair, man. It's similar. And these guys were heavily criticized, but they have rifles, like live ammunition. The dudes in Portland that are going out are doing crowd control.
Yeah.
So Rand Paul wrote this article saying like we should demilitarize the police and all that stuff, and was making reference to Portland. And I'm like, I agree to a certain extent. The issue is more so accountability and oversight for the use of this machinery, technology, and equipment.
Okay.
So, look, if I see a bunch of violent, whatever you want to call it, extremists trying to burn down a building, I'm not going to freak out when identified federal law enforcement say, get off our property, and then defend themselves.
Yeah, it's like they really think everyone has no idea what happens after the peaceful protesters. Well, they don't even leave. They're still there. It's just when the rioters pick up and start attacking. Did you know about the few guys that stood there? There was a couple hero black men that stood and blocked them.
Where?
Last night in Portland. They stood, and I don't know the guy's name. Awesome dude. I think it's like freedom of speech something. I don't know his tag, but they stood there. They locked arms and actually stopped. And he was like yelling. He's like, look, if you guys really think that, Black Lives Matter, you will join me. I'm not afraid to stand here. And he stood there and blocked the guys from breaking down the barricade last night. It's pretty powerful video.
I don't think they do think that, though. I think these far left insurgents.
But they held back the Antifa members
for sure.
from breaking down the barrier. That's
right.
It's pretty cool to see that, though.
When he asked that crowd if they really cared, these people are just using this as a cover. Mm-hmm. They show up, dude. We've talked about it. When they showed up, the Occupy people, the far leftists, the socialists, showed up to the Trayvon Martin march in New York, and then steered the crowd in the wrong direction away from the organizers. The organizers were like, we're going to go to One Police Plaza and protest the NYPD. And then the Occupy people ran to the front and steered the crowd towards Wall Street. And all of those protesters, like that, became socialist protesters.
Yep, exactly.
And this is what I was saying. Listen, this is what I was saying about the bank robbery thing yesterday. If you're marching with someone who's leading you to Wall Street chanting, like, we are the 99%, you're not protesting police brutality anymore. You might think you are, but no one's going to say you're marching behind the dude against, Wall Street or whatever. But check out this. Let's go to the top of this article.
No, I just want to give props to chat real quick. Just hit me up. It's Philip Anderson, King Free Speech, and he's the one who was there, and it's powerful to see that kind of stuff. Thank you for standing up for
right on, man.
For the real deal.
Pop over this here Vox article.
He got beat up too, by the way.
Really?
Oh, they beat him up.
Did you see that one journalist who keeps getting beat up and then keeps saying, "Thank you, Antifa. Please may I have another"?
I haven't seen that one, but
so I'm being rude, but there's this like Andy Ngo has tweeted about him. He got beat up the first time.
Okay. And
then Andy Ngo was like, Antifa has put a bounty on this guy's head. And so then the dude tweets, the feds, it's actually, it's not Antifa. The feds are trying to stop me. They're committing war crimes. Then they beat him up again. And he posts a video saying something like, yeah, they beat me up, but it's okay. Like, I'll be all right. I'm more concerned with the police. It's like, dude, how many times are you going to get beat up and then you're going to act like.
How many times do we have to teach the same lesson?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So take a look at this article from Vox. Portland polarization and the crisis of the Republican Party. Wow.
What?
That to me, man, is
it is now officially political.
Well, it's not confidence building.
Yeah.
Quote, we are witnessing a crisis of democracy that is perfectly acceptable to a significant portion of the population as long as it hurts their enemies.
I don't want anyone hurt.
Okay.
What are they thinking?
It's the old saying, bro.
They really want everyone to believe that there's this huge mass of people that are racist, that want death upon their enemies. It's like, no, we want America to stop fighting and we want to work together. Period. That's what everyone wants. They want this silliness to stop. Most people are looking at these people like they're just spoiled little brats, including myself.
And there are a lot of people
sick of it.
That are too stupid to know what's going on and just see this and think it must be true.
Right.
Like, you know what? It's the old saying that Republicans think that Democrats are misguided. Democrats think Republicans are evil.
Right, exactly.
So I think at the highest level, like Vox, I believe the people who run it, I believe they're evil. I do. And the reason I say that, and I use these words, I use like evil very carefully, is because the people who are funding this know exactly what they're funding. They're conscious of it.
Yep.
So a lot of people talk about like grifting on social media, and they say, you know, Tim's just choosing these stories because they get the most clicks and stuff like that. And it's like, actually, I choose the stories that I think are the most interesting and important.
Right, exactly.
Like today I talked about UFOs because that Pentagon thing, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to do as well as me talking. Like I could have recorded a segment on this.
Yeah.
Instead, I was like, I got to talk about UFOs, man. This is fun and crazy.
I gotta. There's nothing concrete yet for me.
Oh, of course.
that.
But anyway,
Yeah.
the point
Go
is,
ahead.
Vox, CNN, BuzzFeed, these are companies where in the morning, the boss comes in and says, who's going to give me that story that gets a million clicks? I'll buy a pizza. And then they're like, I got this story about Joe Biden saying that he wants to defund the police. Nah, no one cares about that. You got something on Trump? I got one of Trump that we can take out of context where it sounds like he wants to like beat a dog to death. Ooh, that's good. How many hits do you think that one will get? 2 million? Run it. The thing about a corporation that does this is that people have to consciously say, what is the story and which one will do better? Run with that one. I've been in these meetings. I've heard them where they've pitched things. Now, it's not that insane. They'll be like, yo, I heard this story about, you know, this guy on a hacking website who got like his name released. And they'll be like, not interesting enough. What about you? I think Donald Trump is racist. That one. Do that one. The people in charge know what they're choosing and why they're choosing it. It's very different from an individual being like, here's my opinion on these issues and here's what I think matters. The company is like, here's our broadly defined or like a, you know, narrowly defined, you know, story purview. If you look at some of these earlier companies, like Mike.com was like libertarian until they realized social justice, the police brutality stuff, it made them more money. This is what I've been told. So I'll just tell you that. It's like, you know, scuttlebutt. But then all of a sudden they became a leftist social justice company because they were chasing the money. The owners were actively pursuing this. The scary thing about this article from Vox is I think they're right. When they say we are witnessing a crisis of democracy, that is true. It is that is perfectly acceptable to a significant portion of the population. Yes, and it hurts their enemies. I believe that of the far left and the Democrats.
So it's the faulty statement there would be the Republican Party. It's more the Democrat Party.
And I can prove it with one simple bit of logic.
Go for it.
The Republicans aren't showing up to the homes of politicians. The Republicans aren't showing up to courthouse buildings and vandalizing and destroying them. And in this context, federal police are not going to the homes of Antifa to beat and detain them.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Creedy's little black bags showing up to a comedian's house, bashing him in the face and throwing him in a van. We're talking about far leftists trying to burn down a building, assaulting police officers, assaulting journalists. They assaulted journalist Michael Tracy. Did you see that video?
Maybe.
They stole his phone from him and say, if you want it back, say Black Lives Matter.
Oh, that one, right.
And then you want to tell me that there's a group of people that are okay with this? When I try talking to my friends saying, hey, they're assaulting journalists, so what? Don't you know what's going on? Why won't you talk about police brutality? And I'm like, because they're beating up a journalist in the street.
Right now.
Right now. Yeah. And I messaged you about police brutality when it happened last week. Can you? No. And then they just shut down. No.
Or how about all the kids that are being killed across this country?
Yep.
They're not talking about that.
And how they're lying, conflating diligent valor with Operation Legend.
Yeah, they're definitely mixing those up.
That to me is the creepiest stuff. I want to show you one more thing with this. This is just some article. It's an investigative post. I don't even know what this is, but it's very simple. The state police have troopers trained in emergency response. That's the only sentence you need to hear. So if state security forces show up and say, this is an unlawful assembly, you must disperse. They use the LRAD and they fire tear gas. Yeah, you can complain about it if they're, you know, pushing the boundary and violating your rights. You can complain about it. You can file suit. But to act like it's the end of the world and that Trump is the dictator, it's insane how fake all this is.
Yeah.
They literally just make all this stuff up.
I mean, one can argue that. I know the defamation laws, you know, the libel laws. They're directly causing people to believe that there is a war going on within our country. So you can almost say that these faulty, you know, media posts are leading people to cause violence and actually damage communities. It's like there's a direct correlation to their BS and what's actually happening out there.
You know, I was really disappointed.
They got to be held liable for that.
There's a reporter named Josh Rushing. He works for Al Jazeera's Fault Lines, or I think he used to.
Okay.
And I used to, I still respect him. And I say this because it bums me out. He did this bit where he has someone film him while he calls Tucker Carlson on speakerphone. And Tucker, he's like, Tucker, you recently said that white supremacy was a hoax, and there are people in El Paso that feel like your rhetoric is inflaming things, makes them targeted. Tucker's response was, hey, why don't you send the questions to the media people, because, I'm not supposed to, do this. And then they made a bit out of it. And it is the lowest form of trash content. And I was surprised that this dude, who I guess he had served in the military, maybe a Marine, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
And then he became like a host for an Al Jazeera show called Fault Lines. And I'm like, this is what it's come to now, man? Like, you're going to go from reporting in conflict zones to being the guy on the street gotcha-ing Tucker Carlson because someone gave you a cell phone number?
Yeah.
That's what it's become. That's media today. And I was just like, and now what he's doing is he's like reposting it again a year later, like, hey, everybody, look what I did.
Well,
Wow.
in not all media. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? All right. Sorry. Had to do
We
that.
need to figure out how to fix it.
How to hold them liable for lying blatantly to the American public? Yeah, I agree.
You know
We
what, man?
definitely need to figure that out.
It's very difficult. These companies like Vox and Bloomberg have institutional power in the sense that they use their collective viewership to empower people who are really, really dumb and lie. So you get these journalists who normally would have no influence because they're talentless and they're liars. But they're placed up on a pedestal with tens of or hundreds of millions of dollars by major corporations that push their message out. So you get these, I think it's one of the reasons why they really want to control social media, because social media became a open space for meritocracy, where someone like me, for instance, could just start making content and with zero marketing budget, gain a ton of followers and get millions of views. They don't want that. They want the machine to control it.
Yeah.
So now they're like, ban it all, shut it all down. But I'll tell you what, man, it's hard some days when I see Vox, I probably saw like 30 stories all saying the same fake thing. Unidentified police.
Yeah.
Where a judge just ruled they're clearly identifiable in the videos you showed me. What is this?
Yeah, there's
And
a
it's
few friends
two.
of mine that are arguing that, like, how can you defend this Operation Legend that, and look at what's happening in Portland. Of course, they live in Portland.
Right.
And they're like, I go outside, everything's fine. Nothing's like that. Like, how can you say that? And it's just like, you live there and you're telling me that the videos that I'm watching of the actual courthouse being attacked, and then here we have a court order, so the judge issuing like, nope, they're well within their rights to do
Right.
what they're doing, telling me like, no, it's terrible that you believe that you're the issue, like you're believing the false lies. So they truly believe what the truth is the lie.
Think about how psychotic it is right now that CNN and Oregonian and all of these outlets are arguing that Portland is fine.
Right.
They're like, there's nothing really going on in Portland. It's not burning down. Nothing's happening. And then they turn around and go, Trump's Gestapo. They're snatching people off the streets. It's chaos in Bedlam.
And then
Which is it? Which is it? Is it Trump's secret police renditioning people? Or is it everything's fine? Nothing's really happening. I haven't noticed anything. If you live in Portland and you're like, everything's fine, then why would you complain about Operation Legend? Oh, then great. Then you wouldn't care if the FBI shows up to Chicago, right? Because everything's fine amid Donald Trump's diligent valor.
I believe it's Chirac right now.
Yeah, Chirac.
is the appropriate label.
It's that simple. If
Well-
you think the DHS people in Portland is not a big deal because Portland is fine, then why would I believe you when you say, how dare Trump send federal agents to a different city? Why?
Yeah.
Your city's fine.
And then we got the press secretary doing a speech to everybody and showing a video of what's
Fox.
actually Fox. Well, they were covering it, and of course she shows video of the actual riots, the actual fire, the actual mortars being shot at the courthouse, and the statues being toppled. Sure, there was some graffiti there that people are claiming, well, there was graffiti that was said a swear word, so they were going to get fined. And it's like, no, that's not what they wanted. They didn't want the general public to see what was going on in Portland. Period. That's what it was. I mean, if you truly, and people are just bombarding any Twitter feed that I see about that, it's just all these people on the left like, no, it was just a swear word. Don't worry. They just took it down from the swear word. It's like, no, that's not what it was. They don't want anyone knowing about the actual goings of Portland right now. They want them to believe that everything's fine in Portland.
They want you to join the Borg.
Yep,
brother.
exactly.
They want you to be a part of the hive.
Nope.
There's no war.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Mm-hmm.
You will be assimilated.
Resistance is futile. This is what they want. They want you. They're reactionaries.
Yeah.
Right. So for those that aren't familiar with the phrase, and a lot of people aren't, that's why I'll define it. Reactionary is a reference to, I believe, the French Revolution, where the left wing, and that's where left and right comes from, the Jacobins and the left and the revolutionary types called the right that wanted to support the monarchy reactionaries who reacted to the revolution.
Yeah.
So today, the left is really good at using, they understand the power of semantics and how words shape reality. That's why they change definitions of words.
Racism.
And that's why they will call, they'll call liberal individuals, like freedom-loving individuals, libertarian individuals, conservatives, reactionaries, to imply that you, in fact, are resisting the true progress. When in reality, the left is trying to rewind the clock on everything. Our understanding of freedom of speech, which was earned in Supreme Court battles throughout the 60s. Remember that? You ever see that great Berkeley banner where they march on Berkeley, free speech? Our modern understanding of free speech was solidified in Supreme Court rulings. It wasn't always this way. We had obscenity laws. We had a ton of stuff that restricted us from speaking. So then you get, it's just, it's too tiring sometimes, man.
I believe it.
They change the definitions of words. They call you the reactionary. They call you the fascist. But what these people are doing, repealing civil rights law.
That's insane. That's
reactionary, okay? What happened was we had an ideological revolution that all people are created equal, and we fought very hard for this. It's very simple. If you want to repeal a law to go back to the way things were, you're a reactionary. They call everyone else fascist. Why? Because they actually use those fascist tactics. So they call themselves the not fascists club. And then when they start doing fascist things, they're like, well, we're the not fascists, you moron. We can't possibly do fascism. Now, they're not necessarily doing fascism, but they've cleverly disguised their reactionary views, which is fascistic, for progressivism. Think about how very clever it is to say, we oppose racism, therefore we must repeal civil rights law.
It boggles my mind
that people believe it.
Day. I know. And they're actually out there defending it. It's like, how can you defend that? They think that it's so virtuous. Like, oh man, but we're gonna get true diversity.
They don't think it's. I don't think so. I think
in their head, dude, they're thinking that.
Maybe like the grunts and the peons.
Yeah, the people who truly believe it's a good thing, they think it's a good thing.
Yep.
They think it's a virtue.
And this is you can easily verify, the way I see this is I believe it's logically, I believe I'm correct, and it's very simple. First, one of the tactics, they call the proposition to repeal civil rights the Affirmative Action Amendment.
Right.
And all it does is repeal civil rights.
Yeah.
That's incredible. The Democrats realized that they were like, wait a minute, all of the racist things that were really hard to get done, I know. Democrats decided they'll pretend not to be racist, and then they can start doing all the racist things and no one will stop them.
It works.
And then label this bill that we're going to push forward as the affirmative action bill.
Yeah, man.
When literally it just strikes civil rights law.
Yep, exactly.
They're reactionaries that want to turn back the clock on our freedoms, our civil rights, while arguing it's you that wants to do it. Let me tell you something. When someone on the right, a libertarian, a moderate, politically homeless IDW says individuals deserve freedom no matter what their race, color, creed, national origin, that is progress. That is us recognizing the fundamental human rights, the unalienable rights of every person that was originally enshrined in the Constitution and we fully realized over the next 100, 200 years. They're trying to literally repeal those laws to take it back to a simpler time because they're racists.
Right. So all those crazy Democrat leftists that were yelling at Trump when he was like, make America great again, when Reagan said it, Clinton said it, Bill Clinton said it for Hillary Clinton in 2008 too. That blew me away. I was like, wow, that wasn't even that long ago. And now they're like, oh, what time do you want to go back to? And it's like when our infrastructure was solid.
Yeah. Right.
When pipes in Flint, Michigan were good. You know, it's like
there's
what?
There's a graphic that I see a bunch of lefties share. It's from Robert Reich, I think his name is. And it shows like the great prosperity of like 1947 to 1979. And it's like every class in the country was skyrocketing in wealth.
Yeah, that's a good era, actually.
And then from 1980 till now, only the top 1% has grown while the middle class has been stagnant. So when Donald Trump, so I see everyone sharing this, like what happened? How come we were all doing so, you know, every class was doing so well and something changed in 1980 and now only the 1% is prospering. So you're saying you want to make America great again? You want to go back to the old days?
Yes.
1940s when the economy was bolstering. Is that what you're saying?
1950s,
1950s, 60s.
What happened in the 60s? Welfare was created also. We've had this conversation, so I know where you're leading into this.
No. I mean, I wasn't.
Oh, you want to talk about it, though?
What I was going to say is there's a lot of factors
Okay.
that resulted in the middle class stagnation. I mean, immigration is one, feminism is one, welfare is one. But the point I'm bringing up is when Donald Trump says, make America great again, and they say, when was America great? I bring you back to all of the leftists who said, remember when we had a 90% tax rate? Maybe Trump meant that. Oh, you don't think he did? I don't either. The point is,
Biden's trying to bring back higher taxes.
Yeah, that's true. No, the point is, there was a lot of things that the left claims were better way back when. Mm-hmm. And if Trump says he wants to make America great again, then why don't you can just be like, oh, that thing you talked about, the tax bracket? Yeah, that's when America was great. How about that?
That's actually the point I was trying to get to. So thanks for finishing that for me.
Oh, okay, right on. Well, how about we move on to the escalation? The escalation.
The escalation.
WDRB.com says LMPD, that's Louisville Metro Police, plan for armed militias to protest downtown Saturday. And they give us this really nice photo of a member of the black militia group known as the NFAC. You got a bunch of dudes, they got guns, and I'll tell you what, first and foremost, they're in their legal right to do everything they're doing.
Absolutely.
So good for them. That's first and foremost.
Trigger discipline.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, compared to a lot of people, these guys are doing it right.
Well, after the first time that they marched, what was it, like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. So there was a bunch of people talking about the different people holding guns, and then there was close-ups on the guns, and then there was close-ups and calling out on how many of the guns weren't loaded, many of the guns weren't
from the NFAC.
Yeah,
interesting.
Weren't properly, equipped, I guess.
I mean, maybe I
don't know that much about guns, myself, but I was reading into it, and they were like, there was clearly people who knew what they were talking about guns, talking about it.
The important context is that you've got this group. It's the Not Effing Around Coalition. They marched through Georgia. They called out right-wing groups and militias. And apparently one of these dudes has posted, like, I don't know how you describe it, but anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, stuff in the vein of like black identity extremism and black Hebrew Israelites. Mm-hmm. So people are kind of concerned about their ideology, especially if they're going to be marching around. But hey, first and foremost, they're allowed to be doing this. This is America. Second Amendment applies to them, same as anybody else. If they want to, do their thing, so long as it's, within the law,
yep,
I'm not going to complain. However, the 3%ers are going to be coming out. And after these dudes already called out other militias,
yep,
I have genuine concern for some kind of escalation or conflict.
I really don't want that.
But
I don't want anyone shooting each other.
But I got to be honest, man. I've noticed that when I've gone to a lot of protests,
okay,
be it the left or the right, the armed guys are the most disciplined and typically stop things from escalating. The issue is the older disciplined guys with training who are like, we don't want an escalation here and kind of calm things down. Mm-hmm. They're great. But what happens when some younger person shows up all rambunctious with a brand new weapon, or like when the dude in Chaz just hands some random dude a gun,
or a brick gets tossed from behind the crowd, or one person not associated with either group comes in and just pops one shot into the air
while pretending to be one or the other.
Exactly.
And then I think I got to be honest, man, in my experience, I think even someone firing in the air, you'll see discipline from the guys who are properly trained. Mm-hmm. They're not just going to start aiming and shooting.
What scares me though on that front is these not effing around crew. They were straight up calling these people to come fight them.
Yep.
So they weren't, I mean, that's what they were saying. They're like, come fight us. You're all talk. And it's like, they're not all talk. They're not trying to fight you. That's not what their plan is. And that seems like what their plan is.
Perhaps. I can't speak for the NFAC guys.
Okay.
I've actually been on the ground at various protests and actions where the 3%ers have been.
Yeah.
And I've seen them be the most disciplined there. In fact, at one event, it was in Boston, when people were trying to fight, the 3%ers actually pushed so they're on the side with the right-wing people.
Okay.
When the left-wing people started walking up to the crowd, the 3%ers actually like held back the right-wing side, yelling at them like, back up now. Because they're disciplined, they're assertive, and they're like, you're going to cause problems. That guy's trying to bait you. You back up.
Nice.
Because they're going to keep, like, if the 3% dudes in Boston, they knew that if they went up to the Antifa guy and tried pushing him back, like, get away from us, the fight would break out. The smart thing to do, the disciplined thing to do, was to tell your side to back up because they're trying to bait you.
Yeah.
So I really do believe that if it really did come to this, if I had to make a bet, I wouldn't say I'd guarantee it. I'd be willing to bet it would take a lot to get like a 3%er group or one of these right-wing militias to engage. Like, even in the event someone fired a few rounds, I bet they would retreat. I bet they would get behind cover and they'd be like, we're not engaging. This is not what we want. I can't speak for the NFAC.
Well, I can't either. All I'm
'Cause
going
I don't know.
Well, and neither do I, but I am going directly off of their videos of them speaking to the camera saying this is our message. So I'm going off their words. That's where I got my information.
Here, let's read a little bit. They say groups associated with the 3%er movement and a black militia known as the Not Effing Around Coalition are expected to face off in Jefferson Square Park on Saturday, along with other people who have for several weeks been protesting the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor by police.
Oh, well, maybe they'll all be there together because everybody wants justice for Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Period. I don't know I haven't found one person who doesn't care about that.
Yeah, I would say that with 100% accuracy, when I go to people and be like, hey, did you hear about this young woman who was just like shot in a no-knock warrant? And they're like, wow, that's crazy. Those cops should face justice. Like, okay, yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, though, in Seattle, there's going to be more riots on Saturday.
I'm sure
and that's why Trump is deploying this tactical team. Saturday's going to be bumping. That's tomorrow, man. It's going to be bumping. There's going to be a lot of live streams. Things are going to get crazy across this country. I hope this doesn't spark any craziness. Let's read a little bit more.
Same.
Major Aubrey Gregory told reporters Thursday that the groups are expected to be armed, but everyone police have spoken with has expressed the desire for peaceful protests.
Good.
We have been in contact with both groups coming to Louisville, and we expect nothing but a peaceful protest this weekend. This is what I was saying, man. I even with the tough talk from the dude,
yeah,
I've found that the people at protests who are armed tend to be much more disciplined.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if both groups were like, no. we don't. Nobody wants to get shot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some places are a different story, mind you. Chicago, for instance, people pull out guns and point them in each other's faces, and then somebody gets shot.
Yep.
To help ensure that, police will limit vehicle access around the park, including prohibiting parking on the streets surrounding Jefferson Square Park. And police will use bike rack barriers to create a buffer zone and separate the protesters. Gregory said police will create a no-go zone on 5th Street to try and keep those people with alternative viewpoints separated. The department will try not to intervene as long as protesters do not break the law, police have said. LMPD remains committed to peaceful expression of views under the First Amendment. That's Jesse Halliday, police spokeswoman, said. As we have done for several weeks, there will be no need for police intervention as long as there is no threat to personal or public safety. We will not allow the barricading of streets by non-law enforcement, impeding traffic, or attempting to threaten or force people not involved in the protest from their intended destinations. Gregory said the department has been in contact with other law enforcement, including Kentucky State Police, but have not requested assistance for this weekend. And Gregory told reporters he spoke with the founder of NFAC, Grandmaster Jay, who said he is coming to Louisville to voice his concern over the death of Taylor, but expected a nonviolent protest. I take him at his word, as I have no reason not to.
Nice.
I think they should march together.
I think so too. Good point.
They shouldn't. They should both show up and both say we want accountability for people who break the law and commit crimes and take innocent life.
Absolutely.
If they approach this as they're framing it like different factions needing to be divided?
Well, that's clearly what they're doing.
Exactly. That's the potential for conflict because you'll get some Antifa dude on one side starting a fight.
All right.
If they march together like we saw with Black Lives Matter and the Boogaloo Boys,
yeah,
zero chance for conflict.
That's true.
They're
Because
together.
and who's Antifa gonna like provoke? You know, if they're going together as proper American citizens exercising their rights, you know, protesting against an injustice. You know, what's Antifa gonna do? Who are they gonna push?
Look at what happened in Virginia when all the gun rights advocates came out and Black Panthers showed up. Everybody had a good time. And guess what? They won.
That's true.
They pushed back that law, I suppose, in Virginia. I can't remember the full details. It's been a while since I covered this, but they had their big peaceful protest. They actually won. And different political factions were there, all getting along. Mostly just like guns rights activists. I think there was, I'm sure that many of them have different viewpoints, but that was the only real clear ideology.
I got one word for you.
What's that?
America.
Absolutely.
Yep. Isn't it funny how peaceful protest works?
Yeah. Martin Luther King was a strong advocate for peaceful protesting.
What have the violent riots wrought? Opposition to Black Lives Matter. Escalation of crime.
Ruination of small businesses, minority-owned businesses.
Yep. Destruction of wealth for the lower class.
Literal
Yep.
death.
And then we get the defunding of police. They claim victory. What does that get? The
More
activists.
deaths.
But
look at New York. Look at Chicago.
And
It's
the
crazy.
activists in New York are coming out saying, bring them back.
Please bring our cops
Yep.
back. Yep.
So the riots have generated nothing but chaos, conflict, suffering.
Death.
28 dead.
It's
28.
I know it's more than that, but
Well, directly involved in rioting.
sure.
Then you go on to the crime rates that are surging because of this stuff. Worse. What have the peaceful protests generated? At first, peaceful protests resulted in a major show of support for Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
And now it's all souring.
Well, because at first everyone was like, "Hey, you know what? You're right. We want you to know. We absolutely think Black Lives Matter, no doubt. Like that wasn't even a question on anyone's mind right away. It was like, awesome, Black Lives Matter for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
But now we see it's being commandeered by all these, not just one, but just like there's Antifa that's taking it and using it as a shield.
Corporations.
Corporations
Yeah,
are using
dude.
it, right? They're jumping on the bandwagon. It's
The Boston Red Sox did like a 250-foot banner.
God.
That's so dumb, man. I did a video on this earlier, but when A&E canceled Live PD.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is so crazy. I don't know if you guys saw this story. It's a $300 million franchise, and A&E was like, "It's a show about cops. We're gonna cancel it." And now their ratings are down 55%.
Good riddance.
Not only did they lose the $300 million franchise, but the revenue across the board is going to go down. Can't have a video showing police in a positive light, can you?
Nope. The adage, you know what
Get
it
woke,
is?
go broke.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Yep, that's it.
I guess we should make a button. Get woke, go broke.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Get
It's
woke, go
relevant. It's happening a lot.
Yeah. We need something having to do with AOC giving bread to people. Let them eat cake.
Let them have bread.
I can't believe she actually said let them eat cake. You know what I mean?
Wait, she actually said let them
Figuratively.
eat cake? Oh, okay.
Like when she was referencing the shooting, violence, and crime, and she was like, they just want bread. That's like literally
I know.
Marie Antoinette.
Yep, exactly.
The poor people are revolting again. What should we do? Why don't they just eat bread?
Let's
Because
chill
they don't
out.
have any, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like but hers is a different version of the same thing,
It's
where it's like hers is an inversion of it, where people aren't trying to get bread, and she goes, "We need to give them bread." It's like they're shooting each other for unknown reasons.
For someone asking them to stop lighting fireworks
Yeah,
off
seriously.
at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's an issue of law and order.
Absolutely, it is.
They're trying to claim that Trump is faking all of this.
Which is insanity.
This is yeah.
I'm seeing it with my own eyes. I'm reading the police reports. It's crazy right now in America. Like, I want law and order.
The only
People are getting killed. Go ahead.
The only conspiracy theory is, I suppose, the black bloc individuals are secretly working for the government. And so believe it or not, some people actually believe this because they think the two people who were snatched up were actually informants.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right, yeah. So that's why the cops were like, we're going to get you. And that's why they weren't arrested and there was no trace of it. They weren't brought in for question. They're technically brought in for questioning, but they're cooperating criminal informants or confidential informants. But I don't think there's any grand conspiracy. I think the reality is I've known a lot of these far left people. They want people to believe. They tweet about this. They're agitators trying to make us look bad. The protesters are peaceful. It's like, dude, those moms weren't wearing masks. They were kicking the door in too. Like, it's just a mob. It's like, this is what mobs do. There was a really funny story I was reading once. Like, I guess it's like an old legend that somewhere in Europe, back in the way olden days of like the 1400s,
Okay.
people were all on a bridge just dancing wildly, like for no reason. And whenever someone walked on the bridge, they would succumb to the hysteria and start dancing as well.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just like, it probably, like, it's a story supposedly about some weird curse. I don't know. But most people just think it was mob mentality, that people joined in and started doing random things, looking weird and silly for no known reason.
I mean, I'm seeing some videos where there is definitely mob mentality, and they're just chiming in. It's creepy.
And that's why I'm
It's
saying,
getting
man,
real creepy.
the fact that they're showing up to people's homes now
Yep.
is one of the most alarming things, because it will only be a matter of time before they go in your home.
And that's why that I don't know if it was the police commissioner or who made that press conference, but he was saying it's like we've had like over 17 of our police officers be doxxed by these Antifa folk.
Yeah.
We don't want they're going to people's houses.
Yep.
We know that they are, so we're trying to protect our officers who are trying to protect the citizens who aren't attacking the courthouse. It's crazy.
But this is what we get in the Pacific Northwest. If, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody realized this, especially with like Andy No's coverage,
Yeah.
that if it was going to start anywhere, this unrest and this wave of whatever is going to be in Portland or Seattle.
That's a good
like,
point.
We all knew it, So let's jump over to the more I want to say relatively more pressing, but China, man.
I mean, it's important. This is serious. What's going on here?
So make sure before we jump into this segment on China, and this is crazy because they may have violated sovereign territory. We'll read this, but you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Timcast. You can follow at Adam Krigler, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler as well, and at Sour Patch Lids LYDS on Twitter and Parler. And make sure you
Smash that like button. Smash.
and subscribe. Smash the subscribe button,
Smash it.
the like button,
Smash it.
and the notification bell.
Smash it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, check out this story we got from CNBC.
There we go.
FBI arrests Chinese researcher for visa fraud after she hid at consulate in San Francisco. CNBC reports a researcher who took refuge in the Chinese consulate in San Francisco after allegedly lying to investigators about her Chinese military service was arrested and will appear in court on Monday, according to a senior Justice Department official. According to court documents unsealed earlier this week in the Eastern District for California, Yuan Tang, a researcher at the University of California, Davis, applied for a non-immigrant J-1 visa October 2019. The visa was issued in November 2019, and Tang entered the U.S. a month later. Tang allegedly made fraudulent statements on her visa application by concealing that she served in the Chinese military. The FBI concluded that Tang was a uniformed officer of the People's Liberation Army Air Force after photographs of her were uncovered on electronic media seized in accordance with the search warrant. I won't discuss the circumstances of the arrest, said the official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity, adding that the individual did not have diplomatic immunity. The person said that the details of the arrest could be released when the defendant appears before the Eastern District of California court Monday. The issue here is that their true status wasn't disclosed by visa application, the official said, adding that the arrest was not a tit-for-tat move as tensions between Washington and Beijing simmer. On Thursday, the FBI arrested Tang, who had avoided arrest by taking refuge in the Chinese consulate in San Francisco. Tang's arrest for alleged visa fraud follows those of 3 other Chinese researchers in California and Indiana. The arrests were described as a microcosm of a broader network of individuals in more than 25 cities. By their very nature, consulates are a base of operations for foreign governments to the U.S., including their intelligence services, and it's understood that there will be some activity here by those services. Yikes. But because of their location within the United States and their status of sovereign territory of a foreign country, they cannot be exploited, and the espionage and influence activities run out of a consulate can rise ultimately to a level that threatens our national security. So this is where it's getting spicy, man. They shut down our They shut down our consulate in Chengdu. A senior State Department official said the arrests and the closure of the consulate in Houston are about targeting nefarious Chinese activity inside the U.S.
No, they straight up called him out for spying on us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just reading the quote.
I know. I'm just bringing more information into the fold here.
On their decision to close Chengdu, you're going to have to ask them, the MFA, and how they picked that, said the person who spoke on the condition of anonymity, referring to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The official added that the Trump administration was prepared to deal with second and third order effects in the wake of the consulate closure.
What does that mean?
I don't know, man. But when I first heard this, it was disconcerting. I wonder if the U.S. got permission to enter sovereign territory to seize a Chinese national.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I was actually looking into it, and they're reporting on the Chinese side that those people defected to us, to the U.S.
Really?
So
what?
That's what I'm seeing from some reporters on the Chinese side, and even, I mean, it says here the China's foreign ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin said some of the U.S. Chengdu consulate personnel were conducting activities not in line with their identities. So they're trying
and had harmed China's security interests.
Right, but would not elaborate.
Whoa.
And then he goes on to say in an interview that it was like he was speaking to the public in China, and he was basically saying that we made the first move as Americans, and we messed up how we were kicking them out of their consulate in Houston, and that move is basically making them look bad, and
right.
how dare we, and the friendship that we had between American and China is no longer.
What's going on with China and the U.S. reminds me of, like, you've got this one big brutish dude,
yeah,
and he challenges this little nerdy guy to a fight or whatever, and the nerdy guy doesn't care about winning by honorable means. So when the big brutish dude is like, "You think that scrawny guy can take me? I'm the best," and the scrawny guy just hides in the bushes and takes a wrist rocket and blasts him in the head with a rock and wins, and the guy goes down.
Yep.
So the analogy I'm trying to use here is, so many people keep saying that, oh, China's no threat to the U.S. They're no threat to the U.S. Do you think that China, realizing that we have this massive technological advantage, would plan for a conflict based on physical force or ground forces? They're going to target infrastructure, manipulate social pressures, financial institutions. It is going to be a subversive, manipulative conflict.
I'm fairly certain that's what's been going on for quite some time.
Well, yeah, of course. Mike Pompeo said it.
Yep.
They've infiltrated every level of our governments.
Yep, that's
and,
right.
and institutions.
And Barr said it too. He was talking about the exact same
right.
thing.
All these companies that all of a sudden, you know what sickens me? I'm not going to name the NBA players, but you guys probably know who I'm talking about. These very, very high profile NBA players who are like, oh, we need a movement, and we're going to kneel, and we're going to do all these things. And then when it comes to China, they're like, what's wrong with China? China's great.
Terrible.
That's the scary thing about it.
It's a shame. It's the money, man.
It's
greed. Greed is disgusting.
Yeah. So you have to wonder why it is that China suppresses their population in the way they do, with like garbage wages, manipulates their currencies, and has these basically massive sweatshops. You know why? They're man, this is horrifying about collectivism at this scale. These individuals who are walking off the building at Foxconn to their deaths, that was a big story a long time ago. Mm-hmm. They put up suicide nets to catch their bodies. The Chinese government sacrifices people in order to get an edge against us. So they put these people in crammed garbage apartments, and they pay them trash to make our phones. That way, American companies can't compete. Here's what happens. Phone company says, how much will it cost us to hire labor to build these phones? They say, well, the total cost per phone will be, $2,000. Yikes. That's way too much. Well, over in China, the total cost will be $100. Then we can sell them for $1,000 and claim it's cheap. That's brilliant.
Yep.
Because they suppress their labor and depress the wages and put these people in these horrifying conditions, we can't compete with that. That's why Trump wanted tariffs. Yep. That's why he didn't want TPP. It's why Bernie Sanders originally didn't want TPP.
That's why he wants to bring manufacturing back here.
Exactly.
There's so many things in that. We can talk about that for a while. But go ahead, keep going.
No, the point is, what we're seeing from China is they're willing to lop off their own arm if it means they win against us in the long run.
Yep.
So if you see this stuff, and I see a lot of people in the comments saying things like China is a paper tiger. They're not strong enough. They have a lot of people, but they're so weak. They have one aircraft carrier, and it's like, man, what did Sun Tzu say about underestimating your opponent? I don't remember the exact quote, but you don't. You don't. You don't do it. You win the war before you start it. There's a bunch of really brilliant quotes from Sun Tzu. Obviously, The Art of War.
Fairly certain 1,000 paper cuts will still do a lot of damage.
Right, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yep.
So we can see. Listen, man, over the past several decades, that Dylan Ratigan rant. This country is being extracted through trade, politics, finance. That's right.
Yeah, we're not buying American products, so our money isn't staying in America. It's going outside of America to other countries, weakening us.
It's this simple.
That's what Trump wants to do.
It's really simple. If Trump didn't come around, and this is fascinating, especially considering the things I was, my position several years ago. If Trump didn't do what he did with TPP and with American manufacturing, I talked about this years ago. China could snap their fingers and win the war. You know why? We don't have medicine. We don't have masks. We don't have manufacturing capabilities.
80% of our imports come from China.
So here's what happens.
That's what he means by saying make America great again. Make America great by providing for ourselves. That's what he wants to do. That's what I want to do.
If Trump,
we should all want that.
If Trump didn't intervene and the extraction carried on for another several years, we would be 2 more presidents down the line. We'd make literally nothing. The billionaires of the NBA and Hollywood would have all their allegiances in China and all their wealth in China.
Frozen.
And then China,
Go ahead.
and they would snap their fingers and say, we declare war on you, America. And we'd be like, oh, yeah? And they'd be like, yeah, what you going to do? You can't make anything. And then we'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They would cut off our manufacturing because they controlled all of it. They were shutting down our ability to make things.
But that executive order that he put in, President Trump put in, last week now? I know it was starting on Hong Kong, but the wordings that was in there was basically saying if you're connected and
to the party,
if you're funded, if CCP is connected through any means, even if you're a bystander and you have been helping them in any way, they can freeze your assets. So those millionaires and billionaires and all that stuff, it's like, I'm waiting for it. I'm looking for that day.
That was an extremely powerful move.
Yeah, it was.
And now you're not going to see it. But I tweeted about this, that I think you've got these billionaires that are lobbying for favorable policies for their interests in foreign companies, not necessarily just in China. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to think twice. When Hollywood, if Hollywood puts out a movie and changes symbols for China, Trump can walk up and go, well, what have we here? Ooh, that's a nice couple $100 million revenue stream. We're going to take it.
Yep.
Shut it down. Thanks, Hollywood. Something's got to be done about it. I don't know to what degree Trump will actually pull things like that off, but you got to imagine all of these woke billionaires that won't say one word against China will start thinking twice about their business operations.
Damn. Yep.
You got to think about it. That executive order was broad, man. Mm-hmm. It was like indirectly assisting somebody associated with, like,
I know.
So you could be a billionaire who owns a company that you don't pay attention to, and they make shoes, and the shoes are made in, Shenzhen, and then all of a sudden, Shenzhen, or however you pronounce it, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
And then Trump goes, you're indirectly funding, the owner of that factory, which is a party member. I'm going to take your stuff.
I think I clapped when I first read that.
Clapped, like you're in your room, and you're like,
I was on my desk. I was just reading that part, and I was just like, yes.
I jokingly clapped for the microphone. But yeah, man.
No, I did.
So
physically.
Maybe to get conspiratorial, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, think about everything that's happened. We may have mentioned this on the show. Everything that's happened has been very fortuitous for us in the event of a war with China. We've decentralized from our cities. People are fleeing cities. People have bought guns like crazy. Non-essential work has been curtailed, and now people are, being given resources to stock up on the things that they choose to get.
True.
It's like, it feels like we're going to go to war soon, Oh, what is this?
So,
oh, man.
So, well, I mean, we were just kind of talking about, this is not, I don't want to say that this is fortuitous in our favor, because this is terrible for a lot of Chinese citizens that's going on right now. But this is the Three Gorges Dam, and this is from 2017. So now I'm gonna click over. This is from June 24th. So you can see the floodgates are open, and it is releasing. I mean, this thing is coming apart. But
why are they dumping the water out?
Probably because the dam is falling apart, and they need to release the pressure. Because
I thought it was flooding, like overflowing.
Well, that's what it is.
Trying to avoid that.
Right. So it's flooding downriver. Now this.
Oh, I see.
This is July 9th.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So this is really a really bad situation. So they're probably. I mean, this is a serious situation for them.
So what you're saying is that the U.S. is using weather control devices based in Alaska known as HARP to control. I'm kidding.
You know what town is going to take the biggest brunt of this water?
Which town?
I bet you can guess.
Wuhan?
You're absolutely right.
No way.
I'm dead
Weird,
serious.
Dude,
right?
what is
It's
this?
so
So if-
weird.
Are we
this-
already at war? Is that what's happening?
It's crazy, man. So, and if this dam breaks, it's kind of like a long valley all the way to Wuhan. So the water won't go anywhere but straight. So it's going to be like 100 km/h
Tsunami.
wall, tsunami coming from the mountains down just all the way out to sea. So it's terrible. It's like it's crazy. But like China's under some serious pressure right now.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
If China contacted the United States right now and said the dam is about to break,
We need
everyone
help.
everyone in Wuhan will die, unless the United States helps us right now and deploys, and we can stop this. Should the U.S. intervene to stop the dam from breaking?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
But what about the
No
Uyghurs?
doubt. We make it part of the deal.
Yep.
Absolutely. We will absolutely help you,
If.
but you have to abide by this, and this. We'll come help you.
No
No doubt.
I got to be honest, man.
Tomorrow we'll be there, but you have to stop all this stuff. You got to sign these treaties. You got to do this. It's like we want to help you.
Listen.
I feel bad for the Chinese citizens that have nothing to do with the CCP. I've seen lots of them that they hate the CCP.
My opinion of the CCP is not high enough to believe they would accept it. They would look at Trump.
You're right.
And he'd go, "We'll let them die."
You're right. That's true.
I don't think they're
They would.
good people. I think these are nasty authoritarians. Like I said, man, they'll lop off their own arm if it means getting an advantage against us.
And that should tell you everything you need to know about the CCP.
They were welding people into their homes.
Yep.
Like, look, man, they literally have concentration camps. They don't care about their people. They will not give in to our demands, no matter what. They're probably sitting there, and the CCP is like, let them die.
They're probably like, we could rebuild Wuhan anyway.
Yeah, man. They got 1.4 billion people. They're gonna be like, don't care. They don't care about the people who work in parts of the. You know what they were doing during the Olympics when the Olympics came to China? They were taking the water from the farmers, the poor farmers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Communist Party of China is and has been horrifying.
Okay.
Like, aren't they now telling people to take down pictures of Jesus in exchange and to put up Mao?
Yep.
Mao. Like,
That's
man,
correct.
dude,
That's
that
what's
guy,
happening.
and that guy was nuts.
It's scary.
Yeah,
There's already
dude.
been 45 million people that have been affected by the flood so far. 45 million people are already like, look at the difference there. It's insane, right?
This is crazy that the water was a lot higher, but they weren't releasing anything. Now they're trying to like dump as much as they can.
Yeah.
So this is which one's the latest?
That
Oh
one.
wow,
One
July
more.
9th.
Yeah, that one.
Man.
And I mean, I'm finding I haven't found this to be true, but there is some people saying that they're diverting the water towards that dam to prevent it from damaging other areas that are key components.
Yeah.
But that dam is the power of 3 nuclear plants. That's a lot of energy.
Apparently,
Let alone not for necessarily for the people that are downstream, but for probably a huge portion surrounding that whole area.
So check this out. They say on this is from taiwannews.com.tw. On Tuesday, the Chinese financial news site Kaijing Lengyan released a controversial video that simulates the devastating flooding that would occur if the vaunted Three Gorges Dam collapsed. The video shows the path the wall of water might take. It includes an estimates of the speed, depth, and reach of the floodwaters all the way to Wuhan. The video starts out by stating the height of the dam is 181 meters above sea level. Its length is 2,355 meters, and the normal reservoir level is 175 meters, with a capacity of 39.3 kilometers cubed. Wow!
That's a lot.
Ominously, the words, "Once the dam breaks," appear as the animated video shows the dam disintegrate underwater. Is this the video? Do they have it? I don't think they have the video.
It's not there, no.
No, wow. They said as the distance from the Three Gorges Dam to the downstream city of Yicheng is only 50 kilometers, the video predicts that within 30 minutes after the dam breaks, Gezhoba Dam will be crushed and the city of Yicheng destroyed. A flood surge 20 meters in height would strike Yicheng at a speed of 70 kilometers an hour and bury it under 10 meters of water. Yikes, man.
I know.
Wow. Oh, is this it right here?
Maybe. I haven't seen
Oh,
this.
here we go.
Oh, yeah, I
Here we
guess so.
go. So for those that are listening, just shows the dam break. I can't read Chinese, so I can't tell you what they're saying. And then it shows the water. Wow, dude, it just wiped out a city.
Yep, that's the valley I was talking about.
So we can see the dam waters are flooding down the
It
river.
narrows. It's
And
gotta
now
speed it up, yeah.
it just slammed into
Holy
another
cow.
city.
I think that's Wuhan.
Yeah, and now it's wiping out.
I'm not sure if it is or not, but
It literally will just wipe out the entire cities and fill them with water.
yep.
So I wonder what's going on, man.
Why did they build cities there?
Because they build them near water.
Well, the dam was probably built,
Yeah.
and then the water, the river shrank,
And then people started building.
and they're like, oh, we can live in this area now.
That's crazy.
Yep.
There was a video I did on this place in, I think it's called St. Thomas in Nevada. I could be wrong, but it was there was an old town, and then when they built the dam, it was the inverse. When they built the Hoover Dam, water started to fill up on the other side, I guess, and it flooded the whole area, and so they just abandoned it. And now when the drought hit in the past few years, you could actually walk out and go to where the old foundations of the city
Yeah.
used to be.
I remember that video.
Yeah, man, they're facing some serious trouble, and I have to wonder if a lot of what they're doing might be acts of desperation because of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of desperation, or maybe there's secretly a war going on we don't know about. Maybe the whole goal of modern information age warfare is to prevent people from learning what's really happening.
I mean, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, but like I say things like, "How would you do it? How would you be able to pull it off?" And I think the reality is, there's probably things we don't know about in their technology. They've probably got crazy tech we haven't yet, seen publicly.
You think that's what all this talk about, not from this earth crafts that
the
they
alien stuff?
found? It's like, like who knows? It's like, just because we didn't make it doesn't mean like another country could have made it or
Right.
something.
So
I don't know.
For those that were following this, a Pentagon consultant said that they have vehicles that were made off-world, not of this earth or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see that before I believe it.
Yeah, I think I actually have a story from the National Review. Pentagon consultant briefed senators on discovery of off-world vehicles not made on this earth. The reality is, he just said he concluded
Right.
they're off-world vehicles. So I want to keep the focus on what's going on with China, to be honest, because the UFO stuff is the same
I
old
know.
narrative.
Yeah, definitely.
But here's the thing. In all likelihood, whatever they discovered, I don't understand. I mean, he's an astrophysicist, so I defer to him. But why wouldn't the first assumption be, what has China invented? In a long time ago, the bow and arrow was like the pinnacle of weapons technology.
It changed the world.
And when properly used on horseback, you were undefeatable. Amazing. You'd run in and be like, doom, just arrow, arrow, arrow. You won the war, like that. And we've continually advanced our weaponry. The most powerful weapons that we know of, nuclear weapons, and more powerful and bigger. But is that really the most effective way to win a war? It's not. Information manipulation is.
It's true.
In which case, it's not surprising to see DDoS attacks, major hacks by the Chinese government, and cyber warfare be the true warfare that we see today.
Or mental manipulation.
Yeah.
That take it a step further.
Like when you see weird companies investing in news organizations in the United States from foreign governments, and only some of them get called out. Russia Today is complete fake news, but Al Jazeera, that's good.
Yeah, fine.
Same thing. And even, I mean, to be fair, even the CBC and the BBC, foreign companies broadcasting in the U.S. do not have our best interests. They're going to say things the way they want them to be portrayed for their interests, not ours.
Yep.
I don't know what you do about it, but I'll tell you what. We have Xinhua in the United States, and if you go to Times Square, I don't know if they still do, but for a long time, like one of the tallest advertisements was a Xinhua advertisement. That's the Chinese state news agency, literally Chinese propaganda. It's like you don't run a company in China unless it's the government, like they control it, And I know
they're starting to build their own international space station because they want their own outpost in space, and it's like I'm pretty happy that we have a space force now because that's going to be a thing very soon. Like, I mean, it is a thing already. Like that's the whole space race was because of man going into space. Well, we've been there. We've been occupying space for over 20 years. That's amazing.
Look, if China's going to build a space station, I say good. You know why?
Why?
Competition.
Okay.
Space race.
We've been talking about needing a new space race, and that could potentially be it. I mean, they've announced it. Who's talking about the space race? Who's talking about China making a space station?
When are we?
I mean, I guess I am right now.
When are we going to the moon? Do you know? Like Trump's
2024 that was the plan. I mean, I haven't. It still is a plan. I've been reading up, and Artemis is still planning 2024.
Yeah.
So.
And doesn't China want to go to the moon now?
I don't know about them, but I know that our plan is to make a space station that's going to orbit the moon as well as a ground base
lunar.
also. So there's going to be two. So it'll be, you can link up with the one that's orbiting the moon, and then you can go down to the ground.
Could you imagine like living on the moon in that low gravity?
Yep, I can.
And we're gonna have to build like massive biodomes. Have we?
Yep.
Have you read anything about the biodome stuff though?
I've been to the biodome in Arizona.
Is it successful?
It is and it isn't. I mean, yeah, it was. They were in there for 2 years, and
wow. Well, that's good enough.
Yeah. Well,
sealed.
Well, and they're in the space station right now. They've grown lots of different plants. They've got wheat growing, and
they do recycle moisture. They recycle air, but you still need to replenish supplies.
True.
So they still need Earth to like.
Starship, Elon Musk, you're a boss. The world needs you, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. So
reusable.
I
amazing.
have a feeling that we're going to be doing, moon missions a lot.
Definitely.
I wonder is like, do we have to worry about the amount of fuel we have to use to make these missions last in the long run? Do we need a better means of conveyance?
Definitely.
So, I think about the current way that we get off planet, burning hard and liquid fuels.
Yeah.
I mean, can we make infinite supplies of that stuff?
That's something I
mean, obviously
I'm
the answer is not
I'm not a rocket
infinite.
scientist, so I'm not sure exactly, but I mean, Elon Musk is he's to think about what Tesla has done. You see the new semi trucks that they're sick looking. Have you seen the new trucks that they're coming out with? Not like the cyber truck. I'm talking about like the semi driver. Yeah, they're beasts, but they're awesome, and they're not automated, so they're still going to be humans driving around. It's going to be awesome. That's good for the workforce in America, and but you think about what that's going with batteries, the new batteries that they're coming out with.
Solid state batteries.
Right, and then the solars that we have. I mean, who knows the future of power, and that's really the key. I'm actually talking to a couple people that are working towards that.
Batteries and stuff?
Just like nuclear power, and
I'm just saying we need
the future of energy, because that's what you're talking about. Like getting off this planet is escaping gravity. So how are we going to do that?
Anti-grav.
Well, sure.
I'm sure everybody's trying to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be wonderful if we can have anti-grav technology.
Man. And yep.
That would be wonderful if that's what they drop in this Pentagon briefing. Like,
yes.
Well, everybody, it's anti-gravity. We've discovered it, and it's like, yes, like that would be amazing. That would fundamentally change human beings.
Who's that dude? The guy who revealed the Area 51 stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Bob Lazar?
Yes,
Bob Lazar.
That's it, Bob Lazar, yeah.
If I cross my fingers that he's telling the truth.
I mean, I saw that documentary that he put out.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, I didn't get enough information. I need like real source information, statistics and actual experiments that work that I've seen. It's like I
want to see a floating ship,
I can't
bro.
do hearsay anymore. One thing that being on the show with you, I don't listen to hearsay. Someone says, "Hey, this is the case." I go, "Where's your information?"
Source it.
If I don't get this is exactly where it's from, I'm like, get out of here.
Yep.
You just went down a couple notches.
And check this out. Like even when I try to keep my news to credible sources, like that Vox article I read earlier.
Vox is not a credible source.
But they claim it is.
It is, though.
Yeah, but neither is NPR, neither is the New York Times.
That's
They're
true.
all lying about this
You're
stuff.
absolutely right. That's why that
It's broken, man.
That video that I'm seeing of these celebrities going around, you should do your own research, everybody. Check multiple sources. If this mainstream media, you should just check the other mainstream media.
That's a good
And
note.
if they're all saying the same thing, then that's probably what's happening. It's like, whoa. No. Follow it to the source of the river and see where the river's coming from.
Yep.
That's what you need to do. So what they're teaching is not how to do your own research. That's inaccurate.
Let me give you an analogy.
It pisses me off, though.
Let me give you an analogy. Based on how they described it, you see a flow of water, and you're like, there's water. And one person goes, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna drink it. And you're like, but we should probably figure out where the water's coming from. Well, look over there. There's water over there, right? Must be good. That's what they're. So what you do is you walk upstream, and what do you find?
Hey, look, there's an
elephant.
bloated dead body.
An elephant taking a leak into a
adding some water.
trench.
That's way more fun.
And
I
you're like,
should have went with that.
That's elephant urine.
And
That's
then
what
I
happens.
look over my shoulder, and there's the dude drinking elephant urine. It's like,
And he's like, and he's like, all good. And you're like, bro. And he's like, what? That's elephant piss.
No,
and he
don't
goes,
tell him.
Shut up. You're fake news.
fake news.
And you're like, oh, dude.
I'm just like, okay.
Then you take a picture and you walk back and go, look at the photo. I'm not looking at your dumb photo, dude. I don't need you to show me. I know it's water. I drank it. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
dude. You're
I'm just gonna
drinking.
keep going up
man.
up
Oh
river.
my goodness.
That's what it's like every day. Every
Yeah.
day.
I know. I'm swimming in that trying to
Swim
stream-
up that stream
swim
of
up the
elephant
stream
piss.
to get to the source.
Past the
Oh,
elephant.
That's actually a better analogy.
Yeah.
It's a river, and you jump in it, and you're swimming to find the source, and it's a field of elephants all simultaneously just pissing in a trench. And you're like, oh, man. But
Well,
you
there's
had to
a
swim
tiny
through
little
it.
stream of fresh water, right? And you can see it, but you have to like get through the elephants.
Gotta swim through the elephants first.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh!
Right past them.
This is a poignant analogy. I like it.
Then you go
It was
back.
a rhino. No, it was a hippo.
Actually,
you know what I'm talking about.
Right, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Another way to explain it, though, is
Dumb.
you swim upstream, and there's one guy, and he goes, it's water. And you're like, have you gone further upstream? No, but I'm sure it's water. And then the guy downstream says, well, that guy upstream says it's water, so it must be water.
There it
And
is,
all the people
true.
in the village are like, look, those three guys all upstream said it was water. And you're like, I made it to the source. It is about 100 elephants pissing in a trench. And then they're going to be like, I don't know.
Whoa! I need a source.
No, they say, well, why should I believe you? Those three people said it was water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked my
I checked sources. Yeah.
And then the problem is, you know, my first reaction is, well, why don't I just not drink from it and I'll be okay, right? Mm-hmm. Except the mayor has announced, based on the information of these men, they're going to replace their new plumbing system with the great new supply of water that's... And you're like yelling, stop.
No.
We can't do this. And they're like,
Please, no.
you're a conspiracy theorist, you're fake news, and they don't believe you. And that's where we are. And you're desperately trying to tell people to stop drinking the elephant's urine, but they just don't care.
Yep.
They're like, you're fake news. If what you're saying was true, then other people would be saying it. And you're like, okay. All right.
Yep.
And the guy...
Fine. Drink the
Wait.
drink the elephant urine.
And it's even better. The guys upstream who are insisting it's water have awards for
Yeah.
telling you the water is water.
Yeah.
They've like, well, this golden award I got paid for because I announced
it's
that this
golden,
stream
huh?
was water.
Yes.
This is a Pulitzer. All right. I had to
We need
apply
a-
for it, but
We need an unpulitzer.
Yes.
Like that. There was that article that those close to the president say he has no one close to him.
the Pulitzer, man. Come on.
yeah.
No. This is both. I don't want to sully my name with mocking people like the Razzies. But there's that article from Huffington Post. Those close to the president say he has no one close to him.
Best
And
headline.
like my head exploded when I saw that. It was like fake news. You know what it is? A lot of it is just there's really, really dumb people in this
Wow.
world. And they're now taking over news organizations.
Yep, exactly.
And what do you do to stop them?
And social media. For example, I just caught something in chat that I had to just check.
What is it?
King Free Speech just got suspended on Twitter. I checked him earlier when we talked about him. I was like, oh yeah, there it is.
Wow.
He's the dude from
From
Portland,
from
who was linking arms.
who was like trying to stop Antifa from breaking it down.
You got him banned.
And I just checked his Twitter account, suspended. It's not banned, it's suspended. I don't know what the difference is, but
As
it's
soon
like,
as you mentioned it, they dug into it and they nuked him.
so I mean, if why am I not nuked then?
I don't know, man. You know,
Because I'm sure if they got rid of him, they want to get rid of me.
they're careful to get rid of people who are in higher profile positions. They go for people before they get too big. So you may have jumped the line by getting a bunch of followers real quick. When they banned Adam's video where he announced he was supporting Trump,
Yep.
it's now got over 900,000 views on YouTube.
Our video just reporting on it.
Yep.
So not even the original video of me saying what we were
The
saying.
original video
Yeah.
did well.
Right.
And then once they banned it, it was at 2.4 million 2.4 million views.
Yep.
There were actually a couple different uploads. They all get deleted. And then we do a segment because I'm like, I'm not going to stand for that. We're going to talk about it. Now that video has 900,000. That's why they avoid it. Who's this? So this guy, they're probably thinking, no one's going to notice if we get rid of him quickly. Well, we noticed.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out in chat. What is his user handle?
How long ago is it? It's been an hour
Yep.
since we talked about him.
How many followers did he have?
I don't know. I didn't.
King Free Speech.
King Free Speech. I mean, you can check him. Let me see if I can find him on Instagram if he's still, because I my original video that I saw was on. It's not even up here anymore.
What is?
So when I searched for him, there was the Twitter account and the Instagram account. The Instagram account, I don't even see it anymore.
On Google?
Yeah. Well, no, I use DuckDuck, but it showed, there was the Twitter account, which I see, and I clicked, and it's suspended. And the Instagram account was there before an hour ago.
We'll pull up his Instagram.
Let me see if I can find it. Well, I don't have Instagram.
This is the true thing about cancel culture and social media and how they censor people. What people don't realize, they're like, oh, only a small handful of people got suspended. And you're like, that's not true. It was a small handful of high-profile people. There's actually tens of thousands, if not more, dozens, who have been banned who are not very high-profile.
They don't get any attention.
And they get no attention. Yeah, there's no one, because if most of these people who get suspended have a few hundred followers like a normal person, and they get suspended, they can't do anything about it. I've gone to parties where I've met people. We did an event, and one guy was like, I had 300 followers, and I got suspended. I don't know why.
He's still on Instagram.
He's still on Instagram.
Yep. So go follow him. Go follow this guy.
Now, to be fair, maybe he tweeted something, and they suspended him for it.
Yeah, who knows?
But I'll tell you this, man. I've seen this story play out over and over again. Someone goes and does something. They don't break any rules, and they get nuked before you realize it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Twitter, I'm pretty sure Twitter knows what they're doing. They've skewed the idea of acceptable social opinions so far to the left that even just under half of far leftists are scared to speak their opinions.
Yep.
Now, one funny thing is, I will mention this too. When we did that segment on the Cato Institute that found that half of the far left, slightly less than half, is scared to speak up their opinions, somebody commented saying, then they must have even more extreme opinions than we know of.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, yeah, I'd imagine if they were on the far left, maybe they would actually be further left than we realize, or authoritarian or extremist.
Oh man, and what I think of them, they're way over there.
They're nuts, man.
I can't even see them. I can't see them from where I am. Maybe they're all the way right now. I don't even.
It's this weird leftist identitarianism, and they embrace it. They love it.
Yeah,
they are
do.
Evil racists.
They're part of a family now.
Reactionaries.
They've gotten their clique. Finally, they've got a collective, and they're a part of something. When little did they know, America's a great thing to be a part of that they don't even realize. I love this country.
Well, they want to destroy it, and I think that's the only thing they really want to do is destroy.
Yeah,
it's a chaotic, destructive force that has been growing. And unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but it's true, liberalism has allowed it has fostered it, has allowed it to grow.
That's one of its weaknesses.
It is. I say this all the time, that because we accept free speech and freedom and individual liberties, we allow collectivists and evil people an opportunity to grow and spread their ranks. It's just a reality.
Yeah.
And I won't abandon those principles. We just have to make sure that those principles can overcome these evil people.
You know where I think this came from? I think this came from our religious roots. I think this came from Christianity, because I've heard it said from multiple different sources that Christianity and religion like that contains the seeds of its own destruction, because it's fostering curiosity and it's fostering a search for truth. So when you start to look for truth in science, you're planted the seeds of your own destruction. You're going to undermine religion.
Well, look at China right now. They're getting rid of religion.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to be religious in China anymore.
Exactly.
They're not just getting rid of Jesus and telling people
everything.
They're squashing all religion. That's insane. What's going on in China right now?
Well, that's what the concentration camps are for the Uyghurs.
Yep, exactly.
How about we hop over to them super chats?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, it is imperative that you smash the like button.
That's right.
Smash it.
Smash.
Subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Notification bell.
Yep.
More importantly, share the show. If you really do like it, sharing. We will never be able to compete with the likes of CNN.
Yeah.
Like
whoa. I don't know, man. You think it's too little of yourself.
Let me clarify. I mean, in the immediate time frame.
Yeah.
Eventually, CNN will collapse under the weight of its failures,
right?
And run out of money, and then beg us and then they'll come to us for jobs, and we'll say no.
Yep.
It reminds me of that line from Watchmen with Rorschach in the beginning. And he's like, the hordes of scum, disgusting journalists who failed at their job will come to us and say, please employ us.
Yeah.
And I'll look down and say, no. I look forward to that day. In order to get there, you're going to have to share this podcast with people because you like it.
I just realized it wasn't spinning. It's almost like sacrilege.
What?
Our marketing
Look
budget.
at it.
Our marketing budget is
This
zero.
UFO.
But the concurrent viewers clicking share and sharing the video is a more powerful marketing budget than CNN could ever muster.
So thank
Nobody
you.
wants to share CNN stuff.
Thank you.
Right.
Well, let's read some here super chats. Crown Mike says, the media needs to have an oversight committee, the same as the police do. They need to be held liable for slander and unsourced treasonous rhetoric. They need to be held. They need to be held accountable for libel and slander for sure. But we got to be careful because the First Amendment means bad people say bad things sometimes and they get away with it. Got to be careful. Ian Hall says 3 purposes for this super. 1, beanie for the cat. Oh, that's a good idea. 2, boogaloo kit for the cat. Very good idea. And 3, new Birkenstocks for soy Jesus. His have to be getting ready.
Okay. All right.
Birkenstocks.
Only if they're from Sweden.
Lauren
Yeah.
says, if Native American reservations are tax-free, why aren't American companies engaging them? Also, China is weaponizing dams. They've created droughts in neighboring countries by manipulation of water flow. Every neighbor of China hates them.
Yeah, I actually talked about the fact that I think they were engaging India. Like, I didn't know this for a fact, but I felt like it was because of the water sources that were from the mountains there. And I mean, water is it's going to be the most important commodity in the future. Like, we need water to survive.
Yep.
And if
Water wars, bro.
it wouldn't surprise me that they're actually doing that because, I mean, I don't remember what documentary I was digging into, but it was about water. Like, it goes into Mexico and talks about Mexico City and their issues that they're dealing with water, which is a serious issue also. But it also talks about Pakistan and India and how they've been feuding over water sources and how it comes from the mountains, and that's where China is fighting India, right?
Yep.
Well, that's where they've been fighting. I don't know if it's continuing on, but
One day, we will look back and laugh about how we used to flush fresh water down the toilet. We're gonna and you're just gonna be a little kid and be like, "Is it true, Grandpa? You would flush fresh water down the toilet?" That's right. Now pass me a $30 bottle of water, thank you.
right.
Yep. Benjamin the Rogue. This one's for you, Adam.
Okay.
Adam, my girlfriend said that Tim inviting you onto Timcast has got to be the best and worst thing that's happened to you this last year. It's definitely been a wild ride of elephant liquids.
I honestly, it's just been the best because I'm all about moving forward in life, and I don't look back. I always try to plot the path forward, and I feel like that's what a lot of people need to do. They need to stop complaining about the past and just looking at the past, because that's what a lot of these people are doing. They're just like, they're looking backwards and complaining, like walking backwards, like yelling at the past, instead of looking forward and seeing what to do. They think that that's what they're doing, but it's not what they're doing. So coming on the show, becoming politically aware, I guess would be the best way to put it, or not even politically. Like I'm looking into a lot of things. Like I've never been more into space. I mean, I've always loved space, but like now I'm starting to really understand a lot more about it. I'm following everything that's happening, and it's great. I would never go back.
I look forward to getting off this pale blue dot and getting onto a pale red dot at some point. That sounds fun.
You'd move to Mars, or at least go visit.
It depends on the level of. I don't know if in our lifetime we'll have.
I bet, dude. I'm sure. Like, look at technology advancements over the past 100 years
and population growth.
We're gonna occupy Mars, dude.
But I mean, like, will we have
Definitely.
back and forth trips?
I think so. I think there's gonna be major breakthroughs over the next couple decades. It's gonna be amazing.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I truly believe
Let's
it.
see. Gielli says, "Thanks for the hard work, Tim and crew. Have you seen Trump's 4 executive orders on lowering drug costs he signed this afternoon? What are your thoughts on it?"
Yeah,
I did
that's
see that he
right.
did that. I don't know a whole lot about it, though. Did you see it?
I haven't read through them yet, so I like to read things. I was doing a lot of editing today, so I kind of took a little break. I actually uploaded my Donald Trump deep dive from last Saturday. I had to take it down for a few things. Re-uploaded it today, and so I missed that. But I did see it, so I'm excited because that's amazing. Like we need access to these things, It's great.
I have to read it because I'm curious what the executive authority over drug prices would be.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
that's a
maybe
good
maybe
point.
something to do with like the ACA and how he can change things. Maybe.
Yeah.
Cole says every single house on my block was robbed or vandalized. People came down from Casey and looted the place. When will the madness end? Whoa, where? Where's that?
Kansas City?
That Kansas City? People came down from Kansas City? That's crazy.
So, KC, that's what makes,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Josh in Jesus says, guys, I've always thought that Brittany Pettibone and the two Laurens, Chen and Southern, basically invented the space for young conservative women that is now so huge online. Do you agree? I'm not entirely sure.
Lydia's shaking her head.
I don't really think so, because I think there have always been conservative women. I actually found a conservative women's group just a little bit ago that focused on women on campus, which are like the literal tiniest minority you can possibly imagine, if you consider how liberal most young women are. So I'm glad that the Laurens and Brittany give conservative women a voice online, but I think that they're out there. They're just busy. They're living life and doing stuff and raising families and stuff. Yeah, and working a lot.
Working
of them,
towards
so.
the future.
Exactly, which is a good thing to do. But I'm happy to have those ladies.
We have a great super chat. Mark says, "Hey Pim, have you seen that interview by Buri Yezmanov about useless savants preventing our nation from becoming a hip country with free stuff? Huge fan of Eve and Liam."
How dare you?
That was great.
Excellent.
Yes. Those useless individuals preventing our country from truly becoming a great nation of free stuff.
Wait, what was that interview again?
Buri
Yezmanov.
Yuganov?
Yeah.
From Mike says, "I live in Washington State. Thank you for being reputable and giving me a safe haven in the midst of true insanity. This crew is what gives me hope. And Adam, that includes your change of heart. Again, thank you. I no longer need to be the silent majority." Hear, hear.
Yeah, thank you for speaking up, if that's what you're alluding to. Appreciate you.
Talav says, "Trump 2020. Tim is a fence sitter. Still love you, though." Yeah, pretty much on a lot of issues, I would say. But I think at a certain point now, I think the desperation of the Democrats has cleared the fog.
Yep.
For a lot of issues.
For a lot of people.
Yep.
Also.
Yeah, that's why Trump's approval in Rasmussen is tied now. Rasmussen, like a week ago, had Trump down 10 points.
Okay.
Today, it's approval and disapproval are tied, even. Trump, according to Rasmussen, Trump's approval among black voters is 43%.
Well, that's really good, isn't it?
If that's true, Trump is going to win in a landslide, guaranteed. It's just Rasmussen, though. Now, here's the issue. People say Rasmussen is biased towards the president. Certainly, Rasmussen tweets are very biased in favor of like the right, I suppose.
Okay.
But they often go back to their methodology, and they were one of the most accurate polls, if not like the most accurate in 2016. They got the margin correct. Hillary 0.2 up, 2 points up, and all that stuff. So if their tracking is correct right now, and I think look, when you look at the opposition of Black Lives Matter going up since the riots,
true,
and then you see Rasmussen saying Trump's approval is starting to go up with the law enforcement. Wow, that correlates.
Yep.
So I can we can only make assumptions, because we don't have a complete picture. We just have these tidbits. Sounds legit.
And the media is just trying to escalate and make people afraid even more. And it's too late. It's too late, media. It's too late. The veil has been lifted. We all see you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do. And we try hard every day.
It's happening, man.
Silent majority,
people are
baby.
waking up.
This is why it's very important that you guys share, not just the live show, because the live show is more like it's raw, so you don't know what you're going to get. But we put up the segments the next day. So listen, you'll see this show, and the title of this is Democrats Lose Case Against Feds. Judge says Trump can keep operating in Portland. If you share that, people are going to be like, I'm not super interested in what that means necessarily. But we did a segment about how the media lies about Trump the other day that I think went up. Did it go up today? The Bloomberg one? Yeah. I think so. If you share a segment like that specifically, you can be like, listen to these guys talk about how the media lied, and you'll understand.
Yeah.
That's what we hope for, that people will finally realize it is a combination of gross ineptitude and willful deception in the media. And we get to swim in the muck and the mire trying to figure out what's really going on. And even we don't get it right all the time.
It's true. Elephant urine.
Elephant urine.
It's good time.
Yeah,
that's swimming
when
through elephant urine.
When I see people arguing, you'll find them everywhere. I'm sure you've been involved in these arguments with people. I mean, if you're online, the easiest thing you can do is be like, I don't need to explain everything. Here's everything that I've learned from these guys. We sit and talk about it. We do the work for you. So here, drop it down. Watch us. A lot of time you get those people. I don't need to watch that to know that this is water instead of elephant urine.
Or they just plug their ears and go, yeah.
But every so often you get those people that are like, all right, I'll watch it.
Yep.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So share those videos.
Exactly.
And if, and they're very clearly labeled, so you can check it out.
And you can do funny things like if someone claims to have watched it, you can say the point he made over at the 9-minute 17 mark was really interesting because what did you think about that? And they'll be like, I don't know. Let me check.
Yeah.
And I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, use that.
Dean Badger says, if people are afraid to say they support Trump, might they be afraid to vote for him because if he loses, the left might say, okay, let's find out who voted for him. Time for re-education or worse. It's possible too. More importantly,
Interesting.
Trump's donations are way lower than they should be because donations are public record. And somebody made a map of Trump donors.
Wow.
They are trying to scare people into
messed
not
up.
even donating to Trump. Yep.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're all voting for him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Are you voting for him?
I haven't disclosed that or decided, but I don't have a lot of options, do I?
I think you're voting for him.
We'll see what happens.
Whatever.
There's a little time yet.
You both are.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I know I am. Proudly.
Cole asks, Tim, are you getting any attachments for your newly acquired firearms? I mean, probably, but the first thing we had to do is we're relocating to a bigger facility, and then once we do that, finding a good range to go down and practice and stuff. I did get a nice 22, just a rifle, just for the sake of target fun at the range and stuff. This was recommended to me, so maybe we'll see what the experts recommend.
Yeah, 22s are fun to shoot.
Yeah, it's just about targets. That's
Yeah.
what I was told. I mean,
Super chill.
it's a weapon, you know what I mean?
That's true.
But
Yep.
it's, Matt H says, live in Louisville. Look forward to the feds getting here. Never thought I'd say that as a libertarian. Being the only blue district in a sea of red, the derangement is tenfold here. These people need a wake-up call.
Yep.
Well, share the news with them, talk to them, and always remember, be polite. Don't insult, and if they don't accept it, like, I'll tell you what, man, think about this. This is what I always think about when I'm getting into arguments on Facebook, whatever. Somebody will start screaming and they'll yelling and they'll insult, and I'll never do that. You know why? Other people will see the thread.
Mm-hmm.
And if they see you saying, I'm sorry you're upset, I didn't mean to upset you, and the other guy says, F you, you fascist or whatever, then people are going to come in and be like, this guy's crazy. This guy's being nice.
Right.
And it's going to make them be like, I'd rather talk to the guy who's nice. Now, I've talked about this all the time because Trump supporters learned this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
The analogy, and this is not even an analogy, this is literal reality. If you walk up to Antifa, like let's say you walk up to a bar and you're in Washington, D.C., and there's Antifa across street protesting. Inside the bar is a bunch of Trump supporters drinking. You walk up to the Antifa people and they'll be like, who are you with? Who are you with? What are you doing here? What do you want? Who are you? You walk over to the Trump side and they'll be like, yo, come over and have a beer. I'll get your first round. Come have a conversation. What's going on, buddy? It's that kind of attitude. That's the kind of attitude you need to have. Be nice to people. Don't be Antifa.
Yep.
Let's see. Breton says, headed out to go camping up in their mountains of Idaho for the weekend. Yes, stay out unless you're cute, Tim. Hope you three have a great weekend, and we'll catch up with this show Monday. Will do. Thank you.
Word up.
Kara says, if you're interested, I can invite one of you to the Cowlitz County Facebook page showing several hours of a protester stream from Portland. Lots of swearing against police forces. Well, that's just par for the course for these people, to be honest.
True.
Robin says, dearest Tim and crew, did you get the comic I sent you? Did you share it with Adam and Lydia? You mentioned graphic novels, and it slipped my mind until just then. Keep up the good work. Was it My Hero Macadamia?
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
that's the only one I've.
Well, we've
seen.
gotten more than one comic.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the only one
There's
I
a
can think
bunch of really funny Trump comics.
Okay.
Yeah, Trump Punch Man, I think, is one of them.
Oh, cool.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. Those
when
are
we first
those are
started.
hilarious. The My Hero Macadamia one is amazing. Breton says, oh, and Spoofo, the fence toast.
Woohoo!
I don't know what to do. I feel like there's something I should be doing, but
Spoofo.
I got nothing.
Let's see. Crispy5 says, I'm a 20-year-old who sits socially left, economically right kind of mindset, and I could never find anyone to get actual news from that wasn't biased one way or the other. I love all three of you guys and this community. Thank you for being the real news and spin the UFO. Now, to be
Gladly.
honest, I think we're biased, of course.
Of course.
I am definitely biased. I'll admit it. Like I like the president, the current sitting president. I'm a fan of. I like his policies. I approve of him. I'm gonna vote for him. So that makes me biased. I'm okay with it.
At this point, I think the Democrats have abandoned too much. So for me, it's more of you know what? I'll put it this way: it's not so much that I support the president, but that the water level has lowered so much, you can see the island emerging of support.
Yeah.
Where it's like it used to be, the water was high, and I was like, nah, not that guy. But now that the Democrats have taken away all hope, abandoned all hope, I'm like, well, the best thing I can do is
And reason.
yeah. The worse they get, the worse the riots get, the worse the leadership gets, and the worse intersectionalism gets, the more I'm like, I think we need to grab onto that post before the waters sweep us away.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be fair. I think Trump's trade policy stuff was correct. There's not been a good argument placed against him. The most important thing I see when it comes to this political stuff, they're not arguing against him. Literally not. They're saying, but he's sending out secret police. Well, he's not doing that. Well, but he's a fascist. But he's not sending out secret police.
Yeah.
But this has never happened in a country before. But he's not doing that.
It doesn't matter what you say. This is how I feel about my facts.
If they
that
came
I
out-
got from my emotions.
If the Democrats came out and said something like, Trump shouldn't be using PACT, what he needs to do is set up a coalition with local police leadership and send in only U.S. Marshals.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's an interesting point. You think Trump's... No, they're not even saying that. They're lying about everything. So if the only thing I'm hearing my left ear is lies, and from Trump I hear things that are partially disagreeable, I'll be like, well, I'll take the guy who's partially disagreeable. Not that Trump doesn't lie, but the Democrats has been nothing but no arguments, lies, hate, rage, and chaos.
It's so true.
Yep. Let's see. We read that one. Daniel Slezik says, Covington Catholic High School student Nick Sandman announced on Friday that his legal team has settled its $250 million defamation lawsuit with the Washington Post. Yes, I heard that.
Yes.
I'd be willing to bet he got much less than $1 million.
Really?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
You sue for $250. We won't know, but I'd be willing to bet it could be in the hundreds of thousands.
But he got something out of them.
He won.
So he won.
He won.
Good for him.
You know why when this first came out, all these news organizations were laughing like, haha. And all these people on the left were like, what an entitled brat. He's going to lose. And now he's winning all of them.
I mean, in the video, he's just literally just sitting
He didn't do
there.
anything.
Yeah.
They tried to argue that because someone filmed him, he became an involuntary public figure. And that is such BS.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're standing somewhere and someone films you and now you're a public figure?
That's
no,
a slippery
no, no,
slope.
He's
Yeah.
still not a public figure.
Right, he's still
He doesn't
not.
speak in public. He's not a professional in any means where we need to know what he thinks and what he does. He doesn't write about anything. He is not a public figure.
He was a minor.
And we just know his name. That's it.
He
Doesn't
just
make him a
turned
public
18
figure.
today.
Seriously.
What, today's his birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Happy
well, happy-
birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday.
Right?
That's
Check this
cool.
out. TM says a Chinese company bought the company I worked for, a large insurer, in 2016. They sold it to a domestic insurer 1 year later for a $500 million profit. China is intelligent in their ability to take money out of the country.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yep. Boycott China.
Let's see. Agent Miami says, did you know the original anarchist, per true definition, Johnny Rotten from Sex Pistols, is a Trump supporter? Also, Muse and Radiohead have great political songs. Muse, Uprising, and Radiohead, The Numbers. Maybe you could do a cover. We can't because of copyright law stuff.
I would love to cover music.
I think I knew that about Johnny Rotten. I'm not entirely sure, though.
That's crazy. I
Do you
didn't know
think,
that.
Can I play a song and not monetize the song and let the video be out there?
They will just claim it. So, yes.
But okay, so if
so-
they monetize it, I don't monetize it.
Commercials will appear on it.
Okay.
They get the money. You can do the video.
I think that might be worth it. I mean, I play a lot of covers, specific songs that I've learned throughout the years that have helped influence me musically. So I like playing those songs.
They take your video from you, though. So,
Well, I mean, it's still on my channel.
no, I just mean like if you're going to make a video that's only a song,
Mhm.
then it might make sense. But if you did like a full production,
No, it would just
Right,
be
you'd
me
lose
playing
everything.
live.
Right, right.
Cool.
Let's see.
All right.
Ario says, my sister overheard bits of your Wednesday podcast while I was listening and reacted exactly the way you make fun of the leftist echo chambers, and does the same thing with most political topics. Is that what, like scoffing at what we were saying, or what? I'm not entirely sure.
Probably. I don't know.
We learned something
Wednesday
crazy.
feels like so long ago.
Yeah, we learned something crazy. I'm not going to say its name, but Amazon has a little robot, and you can actually ask the little robot to play the Timcast IRL
You
podcast,
can, it's
and
so
it
cool.
does.
That's true.
That felt really good. I was like, wow, I feel like I've made it.
I have
Well,
arrived.
you feel like that. You've been in this industry for a while. I
Yeah,
feel
but
like I've made it.
But on YouTube, now we got the robots.
That's true.
So
Ooh.
That's
people
true.
could walk into a room and be like, play that Timcast IRL, and it does. It's like, wow.
It's pretty cool.
I can't wait to get. We've got the animations are getting done for Will of the People.
I know.
And I can't wait till I can get that up on stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Fire Sign says, watch Epoch Times documentary about the Three Gorges Dam. It was finished in 2015.
Oh wow. A while
Interesting.
ago. Lots changed.
Let's see let's see where we at. Here we go. No. Oh, it just jumped. There we go.
I just saw it jump.
The Killer Stove says, as corny as it sounds, with great power comes great responsibility. Had a huge impact on my worldview growing up. I think Tim is right on the money. We need heroes, not just protagonists, but heroes we can aspire to be like. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Fry Kitty says, Magoya 2020. It's not much, but I enjoy listening to you guys every night and wanted to support you. Appreciate the honest news. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see. Terry Clark says, dude, you realize all the lithium for batteries is strip mined in China using slave labor and child labor. Yeah, I heard that
point.
before, right? Is that, yeah. I haven't researched a lot of it.
We got more things I got to get into. Every day, the more I research, the more I find out. It's probably something terrible that I'm going to be bummed.
Mark McConnell says, Western Canada conservative here. You guys rule. My media outlet for USA, Trumper 2020. Media and left are brutal here as well. Trudeau has to go. Keep up the great reporting and conversations. We will do our best.
Yep. Thank you.
Dark Matter says, Adam, what's up? Saw you started your own show. Props to Tim allowing you to use the equipment. Smash. Also smash like on Adam's channel.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Adam's actually going to have his own studio.
I am. That's right.
We're expanding beyond belief. It's going to be like, we're going to have a gaming studio finally.
Yeah.
We like built 10% of it, but now we're actually going to have like an area with like a nice couch and like big TV.
Yep.
So
we're going to do some D&D. We're going to do some, what else? What other games should we play?
Well, we've got the cancel culture game coming.
True. When that finishes, we'll
unveil
that.
We just I'm not going to say the person's name, but we just tapped a very, very excellent comedic artist.
Yes.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Very funny.
He is awesome.
And you know, I'll ask him if he cares we mention it, but I
don't think he's going to mind.
Should we just say it?
I don't know. I think he's excited about the project.
All right, I'll just say. So you guys know Freedom Tunes?
Of course,
Seamus, he does Freedom Tunes. You guys know what Freedom Tunes
well,
is.
if you don't, you should, because
go check him
it's
out,
hilarious.
man.
Because
awesome.
Yeah, his content is hilarious, and he's doing the basic art for a card game that we're making called Cancel Culture. It's going to be like an out of the box party card game where you basically your goal is to cancel your opponent. It's going to be it's very, very easy to play, very simple.
Yep.
And we've got a bunch of card designs. We've got the mechanics are basically built out. We just got to play test it and refine it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have a card game, and you'll be able to open up a pack, and you'll have your Peter Jordanson card and your Wet Breinstein card.
Well, don't give too much information away.
Yeah, but we're not the only ones who've done something like this. I think we are just.
But we're going to do it right.
As people who played Magic the Gathering and are familiar with card games, we have keen insight. We originally made this ridiculously complicated game, and then we had to like just trash it. We were like, "There's no one who's going to learn how to play this, dude. This is nuts." It was fun though.
I do see a lot of people in chat asking about Adam has a channel. What? It's pretty easy to find. It's Timcast IRL. That's it on YouTube. You can find me. I actually I'm going to be uploading some music. Just going to be my new show. I do it on Saturdays. We're currently in the middle of moving, and I am we got equipment to set up my own studio, as Tim just mentioned. So I probably won't have the show for a couple weeks, but it'll be once I'm back with Timcast, it's going to be huge.
We're going to have
I'm really excited.
Yeah, so we're setting up a bigger facility that can do a lot more. And one of the things we're going to do is like a fact-checking division, like a literal news site that's going to function as like a here's why this is not real. So imagine if someone said there's unidentified troops, and you could go to a fact-checking site that said, here's where all of these different sites said it was true, and here's the judge, and here's the video, here's the photo, and you're like, here's the photo showing the marking. So you can literally be like, dude, just read this, just don't even. And then people will be like, I don't believe you. There's a photo. Well, there's a court order. There's the judge's ruling. Then why are all of these fake? Because they're fake news.
Fake news exists.
It's
real.
And you know what I want to do too? One of the long-standing plans has been to take the last 100 articles that any news outlet has published and do an ethics check where we basically use Reuters and the SPJ's standard journalistic ethics. We'll have people go through them to look for violations, and if they get a violation, they get an X. We then say, 70, X out of 100 articles were legit ethical journalism.
Nice.
And then you can click it and we'll give you the actual spreadsheet. Here are the last 100 articles we reviewed. Here are the reasons why we marked these videos with an ethics violation.
Well, I, for one, will be grateful for that site.
So
I'm going to be using it a lot.
So here's what'll happen. You'll go to New York Times and you'll use our extension or something, and it'll say the New York Times out of the previously sampled 100 articles, they have a score of 70 out of 100. 30 of the articles we pulled from their news division contained violations of journalistic ethics. Then you'll find like, Vox, and it'll have like a 37 out of 100. And it'll be like only 37 met the standards of, Thomson Reuters and SPJ.
Yeah.
And then you'll find a lot of sites have none. The funniest thing about it's going to be though, when certain like right-wing sites score like more fringy blogs and end up with like a 40 and Vox ends up with a 30. And then it's going to be like, look, I think this is a bad source that I wouldn't use.
Right.
But look at Vox. Like Vox is going to be, listen, one of the things I really do believe it's possible that Vox ends up with a 0 out of 100.
Wow.
Because they don't label their articles as opinion.
That's a good
Yes.
point.
And that's a violation of journalistic ethics.
That's a good point.
So we might just be like, Vox is purported to be a news website, but all of their articles are opinions.
Almost every single one.
Now, the thing about the Daily Wire, which is, Ben Shapiro and whatever, I think actually he's not the editor-in-chief anymore, he is? He is.
I think he is. Oh, he
Okay.
stepped down. Yeah.
If it's literally just an opinion site, we're not going to give someone a negative, ethics because a strike because they're a commentary site doing commentary.
Mm-hmm.
If they purport to be explaining the news like Vox does, and it's literally just leftist opinion, yeah, sorry, that's a violation of ethics.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
That's true. They
right.
certainly are. All right, we got this big old super chat here. Will Stewart says, a big issue going on in this election that no one is talking about politically is that a lot of evangelicals are becoming cultural Marxists and promoting critical theory and will be voting Biden. No one is talking about this. I don't know. I guess I'm not an evangelical, so I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said Trump's losing the evangelical vote, which he needs.
I don't believe it after they desecrated Mary and Jesus.
They cut off Jesus's head on across the country.
That pissed me off.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, they're ripping down, they're burning churches, like they're chopping Jesus's head off, like
burning Mary, statues of Mary.
burning statues of Mary. Like, how? What do they?
Evangelicals
But you know
Catholics.
what? Well, so what? Do they not?
They hold it in very little. They hold Mary in almost no esteem. They don't
What
care
about
about
Jesus?
statues.
Evangelicals?
They don't care about statues. Yeah, they
Okay.
really don't care. They're not Catholics. I would think Catholics would have a really strong reaction.
Wow.
So we'll see.
I mean, it's
I'm not religious, and I'm upset about it.
I know, I am
This
too.
country is. If we got the freedom of religion, like,
yeah, absolutely.
are they Americans? Are they proud of this country? Probably. I hope
I
so.
assume, yeah.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
well, ladies
We
and
gotta
gentlemen.
fight for it.
It is 10
yeah.
o'clock.
Yes.
So that means you have to smash the like button.
Oh,
It
yeah.
means subscribe. And it also means the normal course of the show is coming to an end. But it is Friday.
Yes.
And Friday is jam day. So we're going to chill.
Oh, yeah.
Adam, you didn't bust up the whiskey.
I gotta go get it.
He's gotta go
okay.
get it.
I'm gonna go get it now.
We're on a mission.
So for those that stuck with us for the show, thanks for hanging out. The commentary portion is mostly over. Now we just normally we would just end the show and then go to sleep or something, or I don't know,
Something.
eat
Ice pops.
eat what are they called? What's it?
Outshine
Those
bars,
things are
yeah.
amazing. It's like all fruit ice cream or something. But because it's Friday, we're gonna hang out and play some music. And Adam will probably play a couple songs. I think I'll just play one, and we just chill. But then once, we wrap up maybe in like 20 or 30 minutes, we'll come back and talk for a little bit more before we finally do wrap up the show. So if you're not down with a jam session from me and Adam, thank you for hanging out. Subscribe. Check out the show Monday through Friday. We put up clips, share the clips, hit the notification bell, like button, all that good stuff. But now it's time. Now it is time for one of the biggest shows of the year. You see, no one's doing live music right now. And there are 36,619 of you as I speak. And if you stick around, you'll be watching Adam. And this may be one of the biggest live performances of the year. Now, I get it. There's probably more famous people doing, live broadcast music than just us.
I saw Tool in Phoenix this year, so
Oh, okay.
I
That
did go see
counts.
a pretty big show.
Yeah, but that was before COVID, wasn't it?
True, but it was 2020. It counts.
Yeah. So of this year, sure. Okay. Semantics. Since the coronavirus took over.
Although I don't know how many people can fit into that stadium in Phoenix, but
Probably not 36,000.
how's it going? We good on?
You're good to go, brother.
Well, cheers, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today I'm trying some Ardbeg. I like that peaty whiskey, I'm a big peaty guy. This is called Taking It Back. I haven't played this one in a little while, so I'm gonna play this one.
If I was a younger man,
I'd probably make the same mistake twice. The closer the heart is, the harder it becomes to do what's right. Even through the thick and thin, secretly we want to win. Well, I'm taking it back, taking it back, taking it back. It's time to confess our sins. Whoa, before this world you've built crumbles away. I've spent some time lost in my mind, disappointed. Well, that's just the sting from expecting, and that's what you get. Oh, it happens all the time, a high tide of the mind, struggling for oxygen. Oh, and taking it back, taking it back, taking it back is the only option. Whoa, before this world you've built crumbles away. It started with cold feet, let me begin again. Hindsight's obviously the clearest option. I'm taking it back with all that I believe in. Everything happens, I won't fight the reason. You say you've learned from your mistakes, that you're experienced. And then comes the day from left field, as they say, has left you in a daze. Oh, that happens all the time, that high tide of the mind, struggling for oxygen. Oh, and taking it back, taking it back, taking it back is the only option. Oh, before that world you built crumbles away. It started with cold feet, let me begin again. Hindsight's obviously the clearest option. I'm taking it back with all that I believe in. Everything happens, I won't fight the reason.
Woo! Just sitting here
Thank you
chilling.
very much. Thank you very much.
Chilling in this here
Are you coming?
studio room.
You coming over? He's coming over.
Oh boy.
Baby. All right.
I think I'll just play one, man.
Yeah.
He says just
Yeah,
one.
because I got a couple songs I've been working on.
You always say though.
He always says just one.
Yeah, you always said that.
I mean, yeah, how's it going, everybody? Oh, man. What a week. What a week. 2020's been a crazy, crazy time. I'm just going to play something that is crowd favorite. Is this, let me...
Sounds good.
Hopefully I play it right. Remember when we used to fight for peace, when villains weren't only on TV screens. My heart is made up of broken hopes and dreams to take me back into mediocrity. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I guess you never changed that day. It's hard to believe that you mean nothing to me, 'cause you used to be everything. Remember when we used to hope for peace, but heroes were only on The market's made up of broken hopes and dreams. I'll take my place in this story. 2, 3, 4. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways I really wished you'd change that day. It's hard to believe that you mean nothing to me, 'cause you used to be everything. There are words in a book about what we've been through, and there are lines in a script written for me and you. So take it all inside and pray it works. Another aching in your heart starts to burn. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways I really wish you'd change someday. It's hard to believe, but I'm moving on with my dreams, 'cause you were never there for me. There were words in a book about what we've been through, and there are lines in a script written for me and you. So take it all in stride and pray it works. Another aching in your heart starts to burn.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do that one song for today, man. You want to play one?
Yeah, I'll play one more.
I can hear my throat crack. I'm not.
You don't want to risk it.
No.
Tim's gonna be careful of his voice. Happy to hear it.
Lest I lose another week like last
No, you can't do it.
Yeah, we don't want to lose you.
time. I like working too much.
He does.
I'm gonna down tune this guitar because
It's all you now, brother.
you're not playing anymore.
Someone actually cut a version of one of my songs called Will of the People, and it's on YouTube, and it's got like 60,000 views.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did you see the guy that actually did a drum track to it?
Oh, really?
Oh, it's dope.
Super
actually.
cool.
Dude.
He's a good drummer.
We've got an animator working on like an animation for the song. It's awesome.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
I've never been one to like play studio recorded music with full band stuff. So it's very weird for me to hear one of my songs, which are usually just acoustic, but done in a studio manner with full everything.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah,
different.
I'm
It's really
like,
different.
it feels weird. It's like I did not write this song, but I did. But the
Right.
music and the instruments are like the pros. So
It adds a lot. I don't
yeah,
know.
so you guys might know Nishra. She's basically the musical genius who's adding all the studio work to it.
Yeah.
I just play the guitar and sing.
It's great.
I play the drums too, but I didn't record the drums on this one. We actually have a drum kit right here.
Yeah, it's cool. We need a real one.
We're gonna get a real one. It's gonna be great.
I gotta learn.
All right, yeah. So I was watching chat. Someone asked me for a song, so I'm gonna play it. This is and that's why I down-tuned this, because this song it's not right. It doesn't feel right in the key of E. Oh yeah. This is called Melancholy Hellhound. Well, I don't want your money. I just want some wine. Yeah, give me some of your honey. I promise I'll take my time. Oh, welcome to the heartache. It always feels the same. Yeah, well, I find myself growing senseless to the pain. Yeah, well, I scratch and crawl to figure it out, but in the end, there's just me. Oh, well, I don't want your pity, and I don't want no lies. Yeah, oh, life gets shitty. Oh, and then you die. Oh, welcome to the heartache. Try not to lose your way. Yeah, it's like trudging through the muddy waters. Oh, without faith. Yeah, you can scratch and crawl to figure it out, but in the end, there's just me. Oh, well, I still get the feeling, whoa, of judgmental lies. Only difference being, it's just not worth my time. Yeah, 'cause I welcome all the heartache. Oh, it brings tears to my eyes. Yeah, those tears remind me I'm alive. Yeah, alive. Well, I scratch and crawl to figure it out, but in the end, it's just me.
Woo!
All
I
right.
like that one.
You throw the pick?
I did.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I gotta catch it.
Yeah, that one's that one.
Dude, you see, it's true. I come back to them and I'm like, I want to play one more. I want to play. No, I can't do it, dude. My voice cracked when I was singing that, and I was like, nah. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. Believe it or not, I am not a professional musician. I'm a musician. I'm a professional internet talker about news. So I'll take that role more seriously. Yeah. So when I went hard a couple weeks ago, I did like 3 songs and I full belt and everything, and then I lost my voice for a week.
Yeah.
No, not interested. So anyway, everybody. So no more songs. We're good then. We're gonna time for bed.
I can't do it. I felt my voice going earlier today.
Yeah.
When I was playing that song, and I was like, oh, I gotta take it easy. I can feel it right now.
You know what a lot of people don't realize is that
I don't want to risk it.
Adam, you record just over 2 hours of content every day.
I guess I do.
And I record about 3 hours and 40 minutes every day.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about this is when you post something on Facebook about your opinion.
Yeah.
And then someone says like, Adam just keeps talking about this one thing. It's like, you realize that Adam will publish 2 hours worth of discussion, and they'll only talk to you about like one tiny morsel.
Yeah.
You know? So I get that, I've been getting that for a long time with having nearly 4 hours of content. They'll be like, you only talk about, defending the police. And I'm like, did you watch all 4 hours of content I put out today? Because I put out 4 hours. No, I know you don't, because nobody could. That's insane.
Right.
I mean, actually, a lot of people probably do. I'm impressed by that. That's 4 hours, man. That's a lot of content.
I try to catch your stuff. I mean, I don't watch as much as I used to, though, I'll be honest, because I'm researching a lot of the same stuff that you're talking about. So. And
we're going to be doing a vlog channel with the new facility, and it's going to be skateboarding. It's going to be guns, archery, all very safe stuff. The gun stuff will probably be not as much.
Oh, people want to see us shoot. Yo,
we will. I just mean like it's not going to be like, because safety regulations, getting the proper instructors, making sure we have everything set up and secure. We want to be serious with it when we're filming. around that kind of stuff. So, but maybe we can be, better prepared for. It's gonna be a challenge, but we're gonna do skateboarding stuff. We're gonna do vlog stuff. Ian's gonna be baking and making weird fruit leather and stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
So fun.
But the reason I bring this up is that will add probably another 20 minutes of content per day.
That's a good point.
Yeah, to the publishing time. So hopefully I can produce more than 24 hours worth of content per day. And I think it's possible. I think I can pull it off.
He thinks he can do it.
But anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out for the last bit of the show. I assume most of you already smashed the like button and subscribed and all that stuff because you guys are the hardcore fans who wanted to hang out, watch that
There's
that
still
big show.
22,000 people.
Dude, we have more likes than we have watchers right now.
That's because people
amazing.
are awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys
It's
are
so cool.
You guys are fantastic.
You guys
right
are
now.
rocking it.
That's amazing.
But it is now 10:20, and I guess we're about ready to wrap up. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Parler at Timcast. You can do the same for at Adam Krigler. And you can follow at Sour Patch Lids, LYDS, on Twitter and Parler. And we will be back. We will be back. Actually, we'll have clips from the show up tomorrow. So for any of you who didn't catch the whole show, it's the clip system is the most important part because we actually, if you're only interested in, say, free speech, the free speech thing appears. So make sure you subscribe because we'll have clips up tomorrow. And then we will be back live Monday, 8 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And we will see you all next time.
Bye, guys.
Have a great weekend, everybody.